Welcome back to the Love Boat Project, episode 17. I am your host, Mike Taylor. As always, with me, my co-host, Mike Robertson. Ahoy, Mike.
Ahoy, Captain.
Well,
17 episodes in, you're finally costumed. This is impressive. Big day.
when you have a head as large as this, literally,
Yep.
there was some special ordering. Just saying, it took some things. The
Did you
wheels
take
were
that
in
off
motion.
you took it off like a Bob's Big Boy promotional
Easter Island. One of the statues had a captain's hat on. I retrieved.
Captain's hats are oddly available in any costume. Like, we both have them. I think we probably don't really have real captain's hats.
No,
they are everywhere, but it is hard because sometimes it's like, well, I don't want a sexy captain's hat. Or a bachelorette party captain. I just need a captain's hat for a 45-year-old TV show.
Yeah, I don't need a vinyl captain's hat. No. That's not at all what I need.
No.
Yeah, that's funny. So the episode we're going to talk about this evening, original air date, February 3rd, 1978. Episode titled The Last of the Steubings. Ooh. The $1 Million Man. The Sisters. Spoiler alert, Ted DiBiase is not in this episode.
Nor is Lee Majors.
What's going on?
I gotta tell you, spoiler alert, Bill Thompson is neither Ted DiBiase or Lee Majors. So.
He's literally the $1 million man. Maybe. He's the pile of money dollar man.
He's not the $1 million man if you're just going to constantly just throw it around in a hotel room.
Or if your plan is to have the money only for a couple days and then immediately go to prison. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Once again, you are someone who has said you do not enjoy the murder and crime and whodunits on this show.
Not on the boat. No.
We've had a few criminal related episodes here in the last month or so, 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And every criminal worse than the one before him.
So dumb.
It is not good. Crime does not pay. So
it does if you're not dumb about it. Good Lord. If you go on vacation, go on vacation.
We'll get into it, but this is the exact opposite of the Caper crew that we had a couple weeks ago, where they seemed to have a lot of planning and it didn't go well. Bill, apparently great at stealing, bad at everything else. So
and aggressive. You ever hear the word lay low, Bill? Good Lord.
Yeah. I got a lot of problems. I got a lot of problems with Bill and almost everybody else on this boat this week. So.
I'm not a fan of it. I don't think anybody on this boat. So what's on? It's Saturday night, February 1978.
We're in the post Groundhog Day.
It's almost summertime. And then keep in mind now, at this time, starting I think it was last week, was the first time that it was the 1-2 punch of the Love Boat leading right into Fantasy Island.
Oh, that's right. We're at 9:00 now.
Yeah, it's a big Saturday night. CBS at 9, The Jeffersons. 9:30, Maude.
That's some heavy hitters that the Love Boat's going up against.
Heavy hitters. NBC at 9:00. There's a movie on, Mike. The movie's called Ring of Passion. And I know I really popped that pea, but I was just excited about this movie. Not about wrestling, but the story behind the two fights between heavyweight champion Joe Louis and Max Schmeling in the late 1930s.
Wow.
I mean, if I wasn't crazy about the Love Boat, I would watch that. We couldn't tape it then.
Is it okay? So is it a TV movie or is it a movie?
It's a TV movie. It's a bunch of people I've never heard of in it.
So the boxing scenes must be horrible.
Oh, I bet. I bet. A late 70s version of the 1930s boxing.
We're just post Rocky. So
post Rocky 1, right?
Post Rocky, pre Raging Bull, probably the two definitive boxing cinematic movies.
Maybe this was the inspiration. I don't know. I'm sure the maker of Ring of Passion likes to think that. I started the boxing movie phenomena.
Yeah, sorry, bub.
Sorry, Johnny Passion. Not happening.
Bill Ring.
No ring. So that's kind of what's on the anything else to go over before we get to the synopsis of the episode ahead.
So I was gonna save it, but there's two places we can put this note, basically, the beginning or the end. So we're gonna go with the beginning just to kind of set the tone, I think, for everybody. So I don't know how valuable the IMDb ratings are for the programs. Whenever I watch a series, whenever I binge a series, I do go into IMDb a lot. I like to see, guest stars and things like that. And
before you watch or after? Before or after?
It depends. A lot of times it's before, just in terms of like, oh, how many seasons are in this thing and how many episodes are in these seasons, and are there any outliers, right? Like, you'll watch a show and almost every rating will be between a 7.2 and a 7.8, but when you see that 9 or something like that for a season finale, you're like,
looking for those outliers. Okay, gotcha.
Right. And like, I binged Lost about 6 months ago, rewatch of Lost, and like the highest rated ones are the ones I remember being the best, and the lowest rated ones are the ones I remember being the lowest. So I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's a good like shorthand for
makes sense. Leads you in the right direction, at least.
So Love Boat has been pretty consistently mid to high 6s, low to mid 7s. Like, not a lot of variance. They're all about the same. Nothing crazy great. If you had a graph, it would be pretty steady.
Uh-oh.
This week is a 6.1. Now, this is the lowest rating that I've seen for this season. So I went back and looked. This is the lowest rated one of the season, of the ones we have done so far.
That makes sense.
The only thing that was even close was a 6.4, which was
the dog episode?
The Barry Keys episode.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay. I assume that was just you smashing your computer.
Ugh.
But, okay, fine. That's not a crazy couple points off. That's a couple people's opinions, whatever. That's not insane, right? What is insane is this will be the lowest rated episode, according to IMDb, until season 7, episode 23.
Wow, how bad is that one?
Which was also a 6.1. So we never touched 6.1 again until Ed Begley shows up in 1984.
Is that pre or post St. Elsewhere?
I imagine
right
it's
around St. Elsewhere.
During St. Elsewhere. There's another 6.1 that then takes place in season 9. It's the season opener, and the synopsis is basically the cruise gets a makeover, like the ship gets a makeover, and they bring on the dancers.
The dancers?
There's mermaid dancers in the last season of the Love Boat. So this is like death's door.
They're dancing around the ship?
They're part of the cast. They're part of the cast. I don't know.
They have personalities and stuff?
The Love Boat mermaids, and there's like 6 of them. People didn't like it, apparently, because it got a 6.1. So that's in season 9. The only thing lower in the whole run of the show is that same season, season 9. Now, this is post Julie.
Julie's
this is
out.
Current. This is the mermaid dancers. I think this is when Ted McGinley's in.
I think
it's all over,
that's
right?
The kiss of death right there.
We're at the end. The lowest rated episode, according to IMDb, of The Love Boat, season 9, episode 13, on February 1st, 1986, got a 4.8.
Oh, who is
the stars?
Oh no,
Terry.
Hogan. No.
Hogan.
No, that's impossible. Oh no.
So anyway,
I'm even more excited for that episode now. Like,
this is a comically bad episode based on everybody's opinion, so I'm ready to dive in because I did not disagree. So
it's funny that this, as bad as this is, it's still head and shoulders above the Terry Bollea project.
Like a point and a half is a lot. So
that's a lot. Ooh. Yeah. Wow. Well,
I'm sorry to have shook you, but we have 8 years for you to forget this fact, and before we get to it, and you'll be excited.
Completely forget it.
We'll be so ecstatic by the time we get to the end of season 9. Oh my god!
It's going to be, it'll just be a season of celebration. And just lots of
Yeah, right.
sparklers. Just come
Yeah.
on. There's the finish line. So let me give you the synopsis for the episode this week. And again, this is from TV Guide. I want to clarify because I want to be consistent when I pull these. Captain Steubing announces that his nephew will be joining the cruise. An embezzler is strongly attracted to a lovely undercover cop. Hey, spoiler alert.
That's a good point. And
Embezzled
she's not
and
undercover. She's on vacation.
So and then an attractive spinster causes problems by becoming involved with another passenger. That's another weird.
I mean, to be fair to TV Guide, there was a lot going on here in terms of like plot moving around, but that was incorrect. She wasn't causing problems.
No. Can I get a definition on spinster?
Do you know how old she was?
How old she's supposed to be?
Well, that's my point.
Because she's hanging out with Marion Ross, like, so she's got to be mid-40s at least.
She's 45 in real life.
Look at that.
So now Pat Crowley, I think is who it was, who I do not know. I thought she was actually a very attractive woman, but they made her look like she was 78 years old.
Well, this just because how she was dressed and her hair was all weird.
Exactly. But like 45 is not old, said the 45-year-old. But it's like
maybe it was old in 70.
Ages are weird on this thing, and we haven't had an age thing in a while, but everybody is kind of the same age, but they are not played as the same age.
No. So. Interesting. Yeah, it's funny. It is funny. Yeah, so that's the synopsis, kind of a weird thing. Let's go right to the guest star since we kind of hit on that. Not in alphabetical order. Marion Ross, obviously Happy Days, 74 to 84. I didn't realize it was a 10-year run.
Oh, they were probably dragging that thing out to the end. I mean, people were leaving left and right on that show by the end.
Didn't Ted McGinley join that show too?
He's been on every show, yes.
Yeah, he's on every show. Pat Crowley, tons of TV. Again, just these, I don't know who any of these people are. Tons of TV experiences.
This was the, I would say of all the episodes we've done, this was the fewest percentage-wise people I knew by name.
Yeah.
I really only knew 2 people. And that's really low for me. And I don't think the portals would have helped either.
I think the portals would have made it more confusing. You'd be like,
right.
They didn't do portals for this. Can be like, who the hell are these people?
Yeah, right.
You really want Peter Isaacson's face in a portal? It wouldn't fit. Come on. That guy. Brett Halsey, Clark Tyler. No, Marcia there's nothing. I have question marks after any of these because it's like some.
You didn't know Marcia Strassman?
No,
that's Mrs. Cotter.
I did not put the two together.
Yeah, that's Gabe Cotter. That's Gabe Kaplan's wife in the show. Yeah, that's the second person I knew.
I did not even.
Yeah,
everybody else looked familiar, but she had such a long list of TV appearances. I was like, oh god,
that's what it was. So really, you had Mrs. Cunningham and Mrs. Cotter in 1978. That's a pretty big get. So I think they were hanging their hat on those two.
That's a lot to hang a hat on. I mean,
the male leads are thin.
You talking about Frank Converse?
Not a real name.
Not a real name. I think after this, you think he just went by Bill Thompson because it was a more like credible name.
Johnny Converse.
Frank Converse. What's wrong with you? All right. Let's get into it. The captain has summoned the crew for a little meeting before we set sail. And he's letting them know that his nephew will be aboard the cruise to begin this career at sea because, he's a Steubing. Julie asked what he's going to do. Steubing says everything, starting at the bottom. So he's going to work with Gopher, which is
shot at Gopher.
Shot at Gopher.
So they make a point that he's going to Annapolis, right? So in theory, he's a college student going to Navy, right?
Right. Right. So 4 years.
So he's 18. Right. So Annapolis will take care of all that training. B, this is not a military vessel. This is a floating hotel. greeting people and jamming pillows under people's heads and whatever Steubing does. Like, I'm usually not as hard on Steubing as you are, but this whole thing is like Captain cosplay.
It is.
Like, he's got his staff lined up and he's walking up and down the aisle like he's Lou Gossett in An Officer and a Gentleman. Like, it's just come on, man.
The other thing that bugged me so much, so I do have an appreciation for military tradition.
Right.
And Captain Steubing does this thing, and he's done it since the first episode. I just trying to stifle myself. It's the 2-finger salute. The 2-finger salute. There is no okay. So I was like, who is that even a thing? It is a thing. It's used by the Polish Armed Forces and the Cub Scouts. That's who it's used by. So he can go this stupid 2-finger salute when he leaves. It's not even a thing.
Do you think he's like the father of the Cub Scout Navy? It's like he's.
I mean,
that's funny.
I was just like,
well, we've talked about this before. We've talked about this before. That and this is another in the long line all season of the crew's reaction to Steubing is inconsistent. We are back to. I mean, Julie is basically eye rolling him when he walks away.
What Doc said he's overbearing, humorless, and bald.
Yeah, that's, I mean, Doc. Doc is always kind of giving him the crap. It's really the other three that come and go.
Whichever way the wind's blowing too. So,
but it's like he's trying to come off as this. Like, again, I always come back. It should have been Wilford Brimley or somebody older with gravitas, and this is just somebody who is just trying to gather his whole staff, 4 people. In a very small room before a cruise. And by the way, you can say it all you want, Steubing. You love having pre-cruise meetings with the staff. Like, he loves that. But it's his only time he gets to talk to them.
Yeah, but is this the time to have a meeting? People are boarding the ship.
And what you know what else too? This is, like Saved by the Bell. It was basically just the 5 of them. Mm-hmm. But they would at least throw other people in the hallway and there'd be somebody at the locker and stuff like that. Bodies. Just throw bodies out.
Because they couldn't be the only students in the high school.
Exactly. They just needed to have a few other people milling about or in the background. Like, you got to have a couple white shirts, right?
Well, it's just like there's they only have 4 stormtroopers on this whole ship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's where's everyone else? You could have just a who cares, Anderson.
Exactly.
Whatever.
It really brings, it's already bad enough that you're only going to show them their 3 jobs for Courtney to learn. But just give me some background bodies. And they're not short on extras in this episode because there's 78 people in the pool in that one shot.
Tons of people in the pool, random women carrying bags on the thing.
Just get them.
Just you don't even need much.
Starch whites. Yeah.
Right. You don't even need much. It's just
fill it out a little bit. Fill out the universe a little bit.
Oh boy. Rose Higbee is boarding the ship now, Mike, with her sister Noreen Badger. And they're worried about leaving their cats in the care of their vet. Okay, we're painting it's what Kathy, what is it, Ack? That whole thing. Is
Ack.
Always kills me. Okay, I get it. So women in their 40s, they're cat ladies, like what?
Yeah, never mind that Noreen is incredibly successful.
She owns
her own business on La Brea in a building. It's like she's.
Yeah, Rose might be like a hanger-on.
I got problems.
Maybe that's what she's worried about. This whole thing is like, I'm gonna lose my meal ticket.
Spoiler alert. I have problems with almost everyone in this episode.
Oh, yeah, they deserve every minute of it.
Yeah.
Noreen says that the vets, the boarding service is expensive, but well worth it. Gopher's trying to sort of make conversation. He says, well, you get what you pay for. And here's the other thing. Noreen says she hopes so because this cruise is costing them a fortune.
Yep. I bumped on that too.
So I'm like,
we have no idea.
Well, then I know where you must be staying, right?
in
We know
the
that
in the
suite.
oh in the promenade suite.
In the promenade suite where the bed looks like a cardboard box. I mean,
But we have debated this the whole season, right? How much does this thing cost? And
yeah.
then we brought it up a couple weeks ago because you had the Hollywood elite and poor blind people on it. Last week we had Scatman Carruthers who paid for it with, selling peanuts at a stadium. And then you have very successful people, Noreen and
Well, the
eventually,
ad guy that didn't show, like that guy was
right,
of a
right,
certain, yeah.
yeah. John Ritter had enough money on him to just buy a ticket real quick. Like, it's not consistent. And as we've seen, every room in this damn hotel looks the same. So it's not like there's even like a class system or a tier, that you're getting. So it was weird. It was weird that they made such a point of that.
It
Except
was
I
weird.
guess I think they were trying to establish that these were successful people. I don't know. But there was a lot of like RetroCon boat stuff here in this opening scene.
I bet if this is the case, I bet you their menu is very tiered. Like, you could probably have like a sloppy Joe, or you could have caviar. Like the menu's 27 pages long for, corn dog too. I mean, were they catering to everybody?
Well, it's like the old dining
They're
room.
too loosey goosey about it. I think because every time you get 3 new writers on a show,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
it's those little
There's
things.
no show Bible. That's the problem.
No, there has to
Yeah,
be some sort of like mythology that you have to
right.
follow, but
Like there should be a rule. The boat costs this much, and if your people in your episode have a price issue, you have to address it
right, like
with a
just set
single
some
line.
guidelines. Just be
Right.
like, hey, uh so a handsome man behind her after she says that mumbles something. You
I
couldn't
went
hear what
back
he
like
said.
8 times to figure it out, and he basically was like, "You tell them, or you give them what's for." I think he was agreeing, but almost like right on sister. It was
Like the
it was
tape
the
melted.
first. It was the first of many odd pickup lines by
Weird.
Clark Tyler that worked. So good for him.
I just want to say, like, if this is a 6.1, I feel like we're off to a good 6.1 start. Like right now,
Yeah,
this is about a 3. About a
yeah.
3. So
And I will say this:
hmm,
it was better in the first half.
way better. Way better. It's about to
Way
be
better.
terrible. It's about to get bad.
Yep.
And not even just bad, but they were like, it was so stretched out. It's like, can this just be a 23-minute episode? We
Right.
don't.
And it
I
was
can
almost like
to
whoever wrote the first half of all these things,
sit them
somebody
out.
else came in and
I
wrote
don't
the
want to
second
put my
half
name
without
on it.
looking at the first half.
I don't want to be associated with this. Goodbye. I'll tell you what, who didn't write is Art Bear. Art Bear
Nope.
did not write this.
I looked because I looked with like one eye open. I was like, please tell me our guys did not write any of
No,
these, and they
no,
did
no,
not.
no.
No, no.
Yeah, that's our guys are way better.
Yep.
No.
No.
And you know what? If this was like this sort of parameters they dealt with, they would have done a much better job. They would have made
Yeah.
chicken salad out of this.
Oh, listen, there is an episode in here.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh,
not
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. There's definitely not 3 stories, but
No, but this is
maybe
not. This is the frustrating part about this episode is this is not a pranks episode or the dog episode.
no,
Like
it's legit. That's what makes
there
it
are 3
worse.
stories here, and they're just terrible. So
And it's funny because all 3 stories in my mind would be throwaway stories, would be the throwaway story on any other episode.
it's the third it's the third story of all 3 shows. Yep.
Kind of like when you plow snow and you got that little bit left, you got a shovel. It's all gray. That's all they had left for this one. Must have been
It's
a rough.
almost like they shot their wad with the 2-parter. Like if you had dropped this into the one of these into the 2-parter and
Oh,
pulled one of the 2-parter ones, you probably
yeah,
have a much
you
better.
could have.
Yeah.
And again, at least have some names on a crap episode. At
Unless
least
it's
that
that
way you
thing
can like
where
balance it.
Or unless it's that thing where it's like, we don't have any names. Let's use the junk.
Screw it.
Yeah.
Let's
But
get
at
these
least they
people
didn't.
off.
Well, and again, maybe this is why they end up recycling guests so quickly already, is because this is what happens. You get stuck with Bill Converse or whatever his name
It's Bill Converse. It's a great name. Great name. Real name too. Yeah, so yeah, handsome man, boo, 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 that we couldn't quite make out. Noreen kind of glares at him and tells him to
Yeah.
mind his business. And then he like tries to grab her suitcase.
Clark Tyler is not minding his own business. He is
Dude is
going right
pushy.
for it. What if she
Get
had like
Clark.
maced him?
I mean, it was just Brett Halsey as Clark Tyler. I
Yeah.
was just, what the heck?
So how old do you think Brett Halsey is?
Well, there was a lot going on with that hair. Like,
He
there
had
was a
Jim
lot.
Stafford. He had some Jim Stafford hair going.
I'd say 50-50. I'd say 52.
He is the exact same age as Pat Crowley, 45.
No, he doesn't.
Again,
What I think
my age. He is my age. Like
age, I feel like age was just different in the
age is
70s.
different.
It's very different.
And it's funny because they did Pat Crowley, and maybe Pat Crowley looks like that, like maybe that's her style or whatever. But
Maybe.
in my opinion, they didn't do her any favors. Whereas
No, they
Clark
didn't.
Tyler, you're right, he could have been 58.
Well, it's just
I
because
would have been surprised.
he's got some hair challenges, which that's fine. But it was just his overall.
But his eyes were, and they didn't help him with like all the close up and oneers. It was just, yeah.
It was just
But yeah, the move,
just
his
grab
response to mind
suitcase.
your own business is grabbing her bag.
What? I was just like, what are you doing? Like, why?
Where's security? I did not pick up on this until like the third time I had this on, which was today in the background. And it's a short cruise. It's a 3-dayer.
It is.
Well, here's why you know
a lot to go down in 3 days.
Right, but you figure it out by the ending of the bank heist storyline.
Why? Because after the Mazelton, because that's the only stop
because
LA?
He stole the money on Friday and Monday's a bank holiday. So that's how I figured it out was 3 days. But anyway, that's why Clark Tyler and Bill Thompson are in it so quickly. Is there's no time. You only got 3 days.
Well, John Converse is just an idiot. Like, just how dumb. Let me quickly get away to a 3-day and then let me abandon my dude. I guess we'll get to it, but it's just Clark Kellogg or whatever his name was. It's just annoying.
Clark
Tyler. Stephanie Lewis, like you said, Mrs. Carter.
Repeat name from last week.
It is, isn't it?
The student was Stephanie. I think we made a point last week to say they hadn't repeated names.
There we go.
And then they go back-to-back weeks? Come on.
She's searching her very large handbag for her ticket. Well, Doc, I'm surprised Doc didn't just, Doc and the man behind her, Bill Thompson, Clark Converse, Billy Nike, patiently wait. She finds a ticket, hands it to Doc, gives her cabin assignment. So here's the thing too, like there's no security. And I mean, maybe that's not the right word. They just put your stuff out there. Like, it probably wasn't very safe for a single woman on a cruise. And this guy's going, you're in F-75, 75, the unaccompanied woman. And this guy,
you're skipping to me the most important part of that scene.
What's that?
She is looking for and hands over a ticket.
I didn't even think about that.
That was the first thing. I was like, wait a minute. This is the first time anybody has
Doc?
actually.
Yeah, but that's Doc. Doc's trying to. You think that was a move?
Oh,
you didn't even need a ticket.
That makes sense.
There's not even any words in the ticket. It says
so we know the boat is ticketed, at least.
Allegedly, yes.
But Doc's the only one asking, and he's only asking pretty girls.
Right.
That makes sense.
And maybe it's just to is he just doing it to get their room number?
Well, he's got the room number. It's on the clipboard.
Oh, wait, but he doesn't know if he never saw Stephanie Lewis. He doesn't know who he's dealing with. He would be like, it'd be a crapshoot and be like Henrietta.
That whole scene is confusing because then Johnny British Knights comes up and puts his bag on the counter like you do at a TSA. So did they suddenly decide to start checking stuff? No, of course not, because no one else on this boat gets checked.
Nobody was
to
checked.
The point where Julie is able to give Mrs. Cunningham and Noreen their room assignments without ever being told their names.
Yeah, there's that. She's just so good at her job. She's just.
But no, the ticket thing was funny.
Yeah,
and
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then the other thing, although I do think you're right about Doc, and then the other thing is, Doc has clearly like his eyes on Stephanie, right?
Of course.
And he has one more scene where he does, and then that's it. This is a rare Doc kind of pullback.
Very Doc light, and very Doc light,
and also like
didn't follow through.
And he kind of got emasculated there a little bit by Bill friggin' Thompson.
Listen, Johnny Reebok here, like Stephanie Lewis. It could have been any dude. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, Jimmy Kangaroos was really doing anything special. He was just happened to be there and he was pushy. It's just.
He was pushy. He was
super pushy and aggressive. Bill mutters, incredible. And Doc assumes that he's referring to her purse and tells him that all women's purses are usually stuffed with a kind of volume, with a kind of crap that he was just making a comment about how much stuff is in a woman's purse.
But again, that is Doc not respecting, because as we know, Doc recognizes game, right? We saw what he did with Mickey O'Day. He has respect for game. He's blowing off Bill Thompson because he knows there's no game there. So he's not even acknowledging Bill Thompson.
The only game, right, that Ricky Pro Wings has is that bag of money. That's the only thing this guy has. That's it. Because he's dumb as a box of rocks.
That messy bag of money. That unkempt bag of money.
Let me sit bag of money there, Bobby British Knights. You can bring that over here. I want to say this. I know we're not quite the thing. So I just got to say something about the money thing because it's just killing me not to say anything. Who just has piles of money? Who has piles? Like how much? You don't even know how much money you have. Did you bind it? Like what do you?
They're not clear about it. So did he really work at a brokerage house?
What?
And that's who he robbed. Or did he knock over a bank?
How did you get that much cash? Which you don't even know how much is in there. You just got
because she makes it sound like at the end that he can just go back to his office and put the money back. Which means, did he knock over the petty cash? It's so much money.
He's got $1 million in petty. He probably has 47 in singles and like $700 bills, like of his own. He's just trying to. Oh no, I'm rich.
That's his wallet.
Look at me, that's it. That's his wallet. He's got old receipts.
Does it make sense? It's not. If you robbed a bank, it would be in stacks. If you robbed an office, I don't know how brokerage houses worked in 1978. I'm pretty sure that money lenders were not literally lending money. It's not like a Scrooge McDuck situation where they just have gold coins in a pile.
Maybe that's something I've heard of these before. They're called cash closets. Maybe you go in and you lock the door, and then these lights come on and all these vents go everywhere, and there's just bills everywhere, and he's grabbing them and he's sticking them to himself. The bills were all it doesn't make any sense.
What is the show's, why do they have it like that? Every case of money you ever see on TV, it's organized. When you have it like
not
that,
this guy, just loosey goosey. It was so stupid. I would want it just to be organized, just to be easier, so I'm not just dripping bills everywhere I go. And he loved looking at his money too. Oh, look at my money.
Throws it around the room later.
Yeah, she got all giddy too. That's why he was probably all banded up. He likes to roll around in it.
We'll get to it. I think that is the worst scene we have seen.
Oh, when she goes,
that entire scene. That entire scene is the worst scene we've seen, but we'll get to it.
It was something to look forward to. Here we go. Just when you think it can't get any worse.
Brad falls.
A tall man with glasses launches himself onto the ship.
blue blocker
blue
glasses.
blockers, just launches himself. Like you can almost see him running into it, just throws himself onto the ship.
There's that clip that I use on Twitter all the time of this Phillies pitcher in the 80s who's running to third base, and he must like catch his cleat on the vet turf dirt, and he goes
or whatever.
flying like head first into the base. And that's exactly what this looked like. Courtney Stubing looks like David Palmer in 1988. So it's really bad. So
it's really bad. And they, of course, he's not a tall man. He's a giant of a man.
Yeah.
I don't know the official height. I probably should have checked that out.
But nobody on this boat is short, right? Like they're all of average size. So he's got to be like 6'8".
I just know as soon as I saw him tall in that ship, I thought of David Robinson because he tried to work on a submarine coming out of the Naval Academy, and it's this big. It was very, if it,
so he's the admiral. So he is the admiral.
There he goes. Yeah. The suitcase pops open. Here we go. Let's just make this guy look like the dumbest. Just nothing.
Like, how much sway does the Stubing family have? Like, the Naval Academy has academic standards of some kind, right?
Well, I'm sure one of the prerequisites is you have to be able to walk. Like, can you walk onto a boat? Yes or no? No.
He can't walk on. He can't walk off.
No, so he falls everywhere. Suitcases flying everywhere. He's a mess. So here comes Stubing, and his nephew trips into him, almost knocks him over.
So do you think? So I'm sorry, I meant to say this. So this is like the third or fourth episode we've seen Stubing conveniently run down those steps to greet somebody or scold somebody or some plot device. So do you think the wheel is right? Do you think the wheel is right above that spot?
Why would he be up by the wheel?
Sorry, I know.
Why would he be anywhere near the wheel?
So what do you think that is? Just like a brunch?
It's where he flips pigeons. He's up there flipping pigeons. He doesn't do anything on this ship. Just nothing. You can't use the phone there's nothing you can do. What is he going to do? He doesn't drive. What's it, Mr. Garrett? Mr. Garrett, and then there's a robot. I mean, he doesn't do anything. You see in the opening scene where he's like looking through that thing. That's all there's nothing. He doesn't do anything.
It's just a toilet paper roll. Or it's one of those old like kaleidoscope things from the 70s.
Can and a string.
It's the first Viewmaster.
He didn't do anything. He could be fishing. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. Just nothing. Just
I can't defend Stubing this episode. I mean, it's
just
we learned a lot about him and none of it was good.
No, there's so many, so they, he says how excited he is to have Courtney Stubing the fourth on board and turns him over to Gopher. Tells him he can start greeting the passengers, offering to help with the luggage. What could go wrong here? And he grabs this little tiny suitcase as opposed to the giant one.
And runs off with it like the Gale Sayers.
It's the second attempted bag theft that we've seen in about 2 minutes.
Do you think so? Two things. Do you think Stubing ran this by the princess, like HR department?
This is a hush hush,
right? This is hush hush, right?
It's hush hush. So there's no rank on there. There's no identifiable,
Right. And do you think there's any kind of like actual orientation thing that they could have gone on? Like, I mean, this is haphazard at best.
Maybe watch a video.
Something like
a little less hands-on.
Here's one. Here's an email, Julie, or whatever. Here's a carrier pigeon, Julie, from 1978. Mm. By the way, on Tuesday, my nephew or whatever he is coming in. Could you have a few things for him to do?
Yeah.
Not whatever.
And give him what, 10 minutes notice?
Seriously.
What? Aren't we working?
Yeah, right. And it's a short cruise, as we've established. Like, this is the worst time for somebody to come on.
See, there's the downfall. There's like the downside of only having a 5-person crew on a cruise ship. If we just had that 6th person, we'd be so much less busy.
Vince hadn't died while down the
Vince hadn't died. Mr. Garrett was
other people. We had the guy with the beard. We've had other guys.
Where's the plumber? Where's the plumber poet? He's gone. The chef? Where's the non-replacement chef? Can we meet him? What's going on?
They shouldn't have but yet they chased Patty O'Doul, or whatever the hell her name was. The old
Get out, right out of the way.
Right, retirement.
Don't
They should not be shutting these olds out.
And they wouldn't let her eat upstairs until she did retire. Stupid caste system. Bill Thompson, aka Money Bags, or Money Bag, basically.
1 minute with a lock. Good for him.
He smiles at the Bills.
He did.
They're just loose. Yeah,
he did the wave shot, right? He was in the wave shot
with a suitcase. Was he waving his suitcase, or was he waving his hand?
You're on the lam. Why are you waving?
You shouldn't be waving to anybody, just in case.
In your room the entire time. Your whole plan is to get to Mazatlan to get to Rio. You should not be showing people that you're on this boat.
Well, the
Bill
other
Thompson
thing is,
should not be your name. When they're looking for you, they will never find you, except you're going to be in everyone's photographs from that day. Everybody's Polaroid is going to have Bill Thompson in the background.
Well, the other thing too is, if a dog can somehow get into a room and no one knows how, you're going to just leave $1 million in cash in a suitcase while you're out there searching for ladies. Oh, that's true.
He had it in the closet and it was locked. I will say that the bag was secure.
Remember when the chimpanzee was stealing things out of rooms?
It was high up, though.
That's true. That's true.
That's the thing.
It didn't smell like food or bananas or anything.
He knew. He knew of Lucille and her reign of terror.
He cleaned that suitcase so it doesn't smell like food. He bear-proofed it. Okay, this is where this Rose storyline sort of. So on one hand, well, it's already there, but this is where it really got. It just didn't. The logic just lost me. So Rose is telling Noreen that she hopes they run into the handsome man from the lobby. This is Rose saying this to Noreen.
Yes.
And Noreen's saying, you guys are always trying to, marry, or said, you and my family have been trying to marry me off. But she's happy with life the way it is.
We don't have to take orders from some nitwit of a man.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's Noreen saying that.
Yeah. Noreen, a very successful independent woman.
Right.
Yeah.
She runs a successful dental laboratory. So
laboratory.
There's a whole bunch of those on La Brea. It's just lined up a dental laboratory.
What is a dental lab? Is that just x-rays, or is that just like a dentist?
I mean, wouldn't a lab do the same thing?
Were they separate back then?
I don't know why.
Like, is she taking the x-rays?
A lab? What are you testing at a dental lab? Wouldn't you just test blood? Isn't a blood test a blood test?
You think they're like, well, no, because she made it sound like, she hates people with good teeth.
Yeah, because she can't make any money off them.
Here's the point. Was it separate back then? You know how now you go to a dentist and you can get the x-rays in the dentist's office. Was it separate back then? It's like you need to go somewhere else for blood work?
I don't know, but the word laboratory is weird. You think
she is Roy Harwood's dental tech?
It could be. It could.
By the way,
let me see your teeth.
2 dentals now. There are more than like 8 jobs in this world.
You could go anywhere. Lawyer. I mean, we've had lawyer, but I'm going to call shenanigans on dental laboratory. It doesn't make any sense. A dental DME, I get that. Equipment, that sort of thing, that makes sense. But a dental lab, what are you testing teeth? Like what it doesn't even make sense.
I don't know. And I didn't think to look it up until just now, but I do wonder what that is. Probably a drug front.
Probably a drug front. Another one. Some nitwit of a man. Get out of here with that.
Oh.
So I had a thought here. I was like, how long have we been on the ship now? Because they were really messing with time. Are we same day?
Same day, yeah.
Okay. I just want to...
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Now, it's a 3-day cruise, right? So maybe it's a later departure.
Or maybe it's an earlier departure.
But I will say, I don't think we get a clear indication of the next day until like the breakfasty
Yeah, I agree.
scene.
I agree.
So
They made a big deal about the
yeah,
maybe that's why. Here we go again. The skeet shooting is back on the
yeah.
ship.
I intended to look. I
Oh,
forgot to see if it was the same guy, but I think it's the same guy because he is a curly-haired black black-haired guy, and I think it's the same
nameless.
guy from the previous skeet shooting, which makes me think he is actually like a professional skeet shooter that they had to have on set or something like that. Because why would you have
Oh,
the
he's probably
same
like
guy?
an armorer or some kind of safety
Something like
person.
that. Yeah. Like the only way they can shoot this rifle on the boat is if this guy's there. So
Yeah, a couple things about this, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because when we saw the skeet shooting first, not in this episode, but in a previous episode, it was shot from the perspective looking out,
right.
right? So you couldn't really get a sense of how close the people were behind you.
Yes.
Now flipping it, they flipped the camera angle, so it was like they were shooting at the viewer. It didn't make any sense. Though
Yeah.
something would be so loud. You're gonna be firing rifles off right by the pool over and
Yeah.
over and over again. It's
Yeah.
like
It's
jostling.
basically the
People trying
Lido
to
deck, right?
relax. That's
It's the
what I
Lido deck.
thought. They're
Yeah.
trying to put too
So
much stuff on the same deck. Like that would be
no,
away from people, I would think.
I would
I
think you
mean,
got a big old boat. You shoot that over the tailpipe or something.
that's what I'm back corner or something. Just
Yeah.
keep that crap. That's
Yeah.
probably where you hit the golf balls. Um, the other thing is this Stephanie character. I don't care if you're a cop. You are not shooting a rifle off the back of your. It's never happening. Ever, ever,
One
ever,
arm,
ever, ever.
like Annie Oakley, just firing away
Oof.
with her little
No,
soft cast.
it was just stupid.
And I mean, listen,
Every
we all
charge.
love him. We all love him. She emasculated Doc. That was it.
Doc didn't say a word to her the rest of the
Doc
scene.
didn't say a word. Doc barely is in the rest of this episode. He stands down. He gives her to Bill Thompson. It's like Doc is so mortified at being emasculated by this lady. That was sad to see, Doc.
Well, at the end of the scene, she tried to hand the rifle back, and he said, "Just keep it.
Yeah.
I never want to touch that thing again. Get out of here."
What if he had put it in his mouth? He was so sad.
It was sad. I think he felt like it was like a borderline, like samurai dishonorable moment. And we never saw Doc again. He just launches himself off the ship.
Buddy, it's okay, man. Like she's a cop. Like we'll find out later. She's a cop.
She's not for you.
You're a doctor.
She's not for you. So Doc's practicing, gives it to Stephanie. She hits all the targets on the back of her wrist. And there's freaking Donnie Reebok hiding in the bushes.
So what's he doing? Just
Like,
stalking her?
And he just starts clapping. Like,
is he stalking her? Like, how would you? She just showed up there.
Yeah.
Because what else is he doing? Is he watching Doc? Maybe he's into Doc?
Out of all that, he was so stricken with her. Remember, she's the one he was like incredible. When she walked away, like, keep it in your pants there, thief.
Seriously.
Like, eye on the prize, bro.
Well, here's the thing. Like, women weaken legs. In this case, they totally did. This guy
weakens his brain.
Yeah.
He's just stupid. Yeah. It's just, this guy is the worst criminal ever. He's just a waste of, boy, here we go. Isaac tells Courtney to hold down the bar. Like, what could go wrong? Because he has to deliver drinks. And then I was like, there's no cocktail waitresses?
Well, we know there's no cocktail waitresses.
Isaac's
how about
delivering all over the ship? I thought he only delivered Irish coffee.
That was send Paulie Tollerson out to deliver the drinks.
But like that's it on a ship that costs so much money that they don't even have a waitress to deliver your drinks, and then the poor sap that's waiting for the next drink's got to deal with lurch.
It's like a Saturday afternoon in the winter staffing at a corner bar.
It really is like terrible service.
You got to order your drinks at the bar. We can't bring them back to you.
You can only get it here. What?
Yeah.
A few seconds later, a customer orders scotch. He spills the scotch. Then he tries to put the scotch back into the bottle. Ask the
Is
man to
that the
tell him to
most?
stop.
Did he pour a drink more than any drink we've seen Isaac pour?
Oh, yeah,
Right?
absolutely. He's
Like
exceeded
that's
the
the
season total
yeah.
just by
So
volume of liquid. Because
right,
Isaac's the king of just topping something off.
right.
Put a
Like
cherry
that.
on top.
We saw Julie pour a stiffer drink. We've
We
now
did.
seen this guy. Like Isaac's at least third without thinking about it.
He's the worst bartender on the ship, apparently. uh the man is replying, saying he doesn't have any problems. He just wants to have a drink. And then Courtney loses his crap, and he's just, you have to have problems. You have to tell me, and blah blah blah. Like, what the? That's
I
not
mean,
just
to be fair,
clumsy. He's a
this kid is
psychopath.
18. This kid is supposed to be 18 years old. To be fair, he
Not
is going
physically.
through. He is going through some stuff.
Yeah, his knees must hurt. He's 20 feet tall.
He's got gigantism.
He's got gigantism. This is Robert Walden. Is that who this is? It's just crazy. Oh, good Lord. Irish rushes back, diffuses the situation, gives him a free drink. I tell you what, like, that's cool, free drink, but I'd be like, look, this man child tried to attack me. Can I get 2 free drinks?
Or can I just get that? Can I get that first drink that he poured originally, which was a full thing of scotch?
Just something. Can you get rid of him? Can you? I don't want to sit near him. Where
Also,
can I go where he's not?
are we back to you have to pay for the drinks now? Like it's so inconsistent.
I don't get that either. Back to stupid Rose and Noreen. They're entering the bar with 2 cups filled with their slot machine winnings. Of course they are. They order drinks. There he comes. Stupid Clark Tyler.
Well, first of all, Noreen
Danny
gets
Nike.
scotch. Does this bar only serve scotch?
Did she get scotch? What did the other lady get?
She asked for scotch.
Oh.
It was like, really? You couldn't go with any other drink? At least they didn't say Harvey Wallbanger. So
or whiskey sour at that point.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Well, I'm drinking the other drink that gets named. Well, that's not true. It's a very boozy episode.
It is a very boozy episode.
Yeah. I have one of the drinks. We'll get to it. I have one of the drinks referenced later, but it's not the only one left. So,
okay. Clark Tyler asked if they can join them. It's a little weird. I think if you, let's say you and I were having breakfast and some strange lady walked up and said, "Can I join you?"
Yeah. There is there is an unstated like horniness on these cruises, it seems like, where you can it would be like if you were at a singles bar and you get offended that somebody asked to talk to you. I get the impression that's like
it's like a singles event.
Clark Tyler is a man of means and is coming off like a desperate person at a party.
It's just he tried to grab her bag. Let's go back to that. Like, what kind of move is that? The guy's supposed to be in his mid-40s.
Yeah. And he gets some ice when he sits down right now too. So like he just keeps barreling through. He's actually the reason that people keep going when they clearly are not going to do anything. Like this is the guy. It worked out for him.
This is the king of doing that. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Oof. Noreen says she'd rather he didn't, but he sits down anyways. Says his cruises are for meeting new people. To your point. We don't know what he means by that. Who knows?
Yeah.
Then compliments are pretty eyes. Okay, we kind of know what he means now. Okay, we get it now. All right. Because I wonder if people approach it like not like a singles bar, but like a singles event. You know what I mean? Like if you go to like a singles event where people go to meet people, that's the event itself.
There's an understanding, right?
Yeah.
And I guess like they have referenced it on enough shows that it is the Love Boat, right? So there almost seems to be this like layer of acceptance.
Yeah.
Where this wouldn't, if you were on the street and you did this wouldn't happen.
No.
But,
absolutely not. If you were at an office party, like what?
Right.
But why are you grabbing my bag? Yeah.
I mean, she told off this complete stranger in line twice and now has crapped on him at least twice at the table.
He's back
And
for
he's still
more.
going. He's still going. And listen, Clark Tyler, your wallet's okay, I imagine, if you're old Tyler. But, like, you know, you're not exactly bringing the suave or handsome game here, friend. So,
Well, also, you think about it, right? Like a man of that age, they're saying, like, say mid 40s, you have some money. Of course, he's coming on the ship to try to find some lady if he's single at that age. But, like, somebody told him it was, like, okay to be that aggressive. I mean, like, it's just odd to.
yeah.
But
And the
maybe
fact,
is that a sign of the times too?
well, of
Was it a little
course.
more accepted in the 70s to be aggressive like that? Oh, my
Yeah. And
voice
it's
went
this.
so
And
high.
of course, I mean, this is again where I get thrown off because they're painting Noreen as the spinster.
Right.
Whereas if this was present day, she would be a strong, independent woman. And it's just like, it's the juxtaposition, the whole episode, right? Because at the end,
Well, then right.
but it's just like him being aggressive like that is not frowned upon in the times, but it's also dismissive of all of what she actually is representing that they quickly punt away. So
It really is. Like, why did they even tell us the rest if they were just going to go, let's just
be a
smut
spinster. Just be a spinster. Like, lean into the spinster thing. But this is almost like, nope, sorry, successful
that.
woman.
Oh,
You're
she's
only as
just
good
a
as the
lady.
man you get. Yeah.
You're a gal.
Yeah.
Says something, cruises her for meeting new people, compliments her on her eyes, and says he can tell just from that she's a kind person from her eyes. I wrote, just this dude's coming on so strong, like just uncomfortable. And here's Rose trying to sell Noreen down the river, saying that she's the owner of Badger's Dental Lab, which we know is a front for some sort of drug operation now. Why wouldn't you call it Beaver's Dental Lab? You have such an opportunity there for marketing.
Her name is Badgers.
Oh yeah, makes sense. But think about it. You know what I mean? Just think about that sign with like a little.
You know what? Maybe that got caught in the censors.
Oh,
Late
good
70s.
call. Maybe her name was
maybe they're
Noreen
trying to get
Beaver.
more cute and they got caught.
Noreen Beaver. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Clark says, "Oh, in the old Tyler building," and then he identifies himself as that Tyler person.
I hate this. I hate
convenient nonsense.
I hate the smallness of the world that creates. That everybody, this is basically just a bus to LA. Like, in my head, when we first started this, and we've seen some characters like this, but in my head, this was something from people all over the country, nay, the world, came to the Love Boat. And now it has just turned into this Los Angeles thing.
It's just locals.
And it really smallens the world that we already are seeing on the cruise ship itself is small. It's just, you should not bring up the name. I work at a dental lab, not that I work at Badger's Dental Lab, and you shouldn't know it, and you shouldn't know the street, and you shouldn't own the building. Like, it's just, it's, like Star Wars is just like everybody's a Skywalker. Like, it can't be that. It really like makes everything small.
Well, there's 50 states.
Yeah.
Not only that, but California's a big state.
Right.
Go spread out. San Diego,
and
San Francisco.
I'm not saying it has to be 100% not native.
But have some contrast.
Everybody's getting a ride. Everybody's getting a ride home.
Everybody rides home with Isaac's mom. Oh, right. It's on the way. What?
It's just
what?
Like, come on, man. Give me somebody from Nebraska. Give me somebody. What's his name? The old man. At least he was from McKeesport. Like, that was one guy.
Right.
But
just something.
Everybody can't.
Everyone's from LA.
Right. No.
Everyone lives there. Like, what?
No, thank you. West Coast
on the cruise. It's
West Coast. But you know what? Be from Sacramento. Be from Seattle.
That's what I'm saying.
Portland. The Blazers just won the championship in this world. Like,
you got 50 states.
Yeah.
50 states. Just pick. Everyone can't be from California. And I wouldn't imagine all the people in LA want to go on a cruise to Mexico because it really is that's what they want to do.
I wouldn't care in the context of this storyline. That's fine. You can do it once in a while, but it does seem like almost. When's the last time we've had like two maybe that were like people coming from somewhere else lately, and That's not great.
JJ Walker drove the route of the ship. Like, come on. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's a bunch of nonsense. Noreen says she's been meaning to complain about the sagging floor. He'll fix it after the cruise, but in the meantime, he'd like for them to hit the dance floor together. And
do
Rose
some damage on that floor.
Like, Jesus, what? How is that unacceptable? Is that what happened to the floor? I mean, what did you dance? But then
also,
Rose
what kind of lab results are we getting on this wobbly floor?
Doing? What is going on? Why are you putting needles in my teeth? Like, what's happening? Dental lab. It still doesn't make any sense to me. And then Rose is pushing.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, and here, keep in mind, I'm writing these notes as I'm watching it. Like, I don't go back.
Yeah.
And I write, what's up with Rose? Very strong push to get Noreen with somebody else. Like, it stood out.
Right.
So that's why later on, I'm like,
it falls off the cliff the other way.
It's just stupid. It's just like, it was a waste of time.
It was so dramatic.
She could have said buzz off right here and the whole storyline would have been done.
Or just been a normal person. But she like comes in so hot on the first night. Like, hey, Clark Tyler, that's great. You know what? I'm in this room. Let's have breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah.
No,
maybe I'll see you around. Like, she totally pimped her out. She pimped her out. Maybe she wanted more room.
But no, Rose is not. We saw later. Rose is not.
Rose is no.
Rose is not utilizing her solo time very well.
No, she didn't do it. Yeah, no. Ugh. Oh boy. Then we're back to Courtney. Jesus Christ. It just. Remember how they had the wrestling buddies? I would love if they had a Courtney buddy. Just remake the old wrestling buddy, the stuffed animal guys. Just to give me a Courtney one. Just taller than the rest.
Do you think, how long will we go before we have a taller guy? Like, we'll have a celebrity tall guy at some point, right? But like,
I don't know. I don't think Hogan's taller than this guy.
No, I'm going 6'8" on this guy. Like,
I mean, it would have to be somebody like
the Harlem Globe. Do the Harlem Globetrotters get on the boat at some point? Yeah.
Yeah, but is anybody taller than 6'8"?
Was Meadowlark Lemon 6'8"?
I don't know.
I'm gonna keep a side note.
Let's mark that.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep a side note to see how long
Bill Walton strolls on the ship. I mean, who knows?
That guy from the guy from Strange Brew and Happy Gilmore, he's got to be on here at some point.
He's got to be on there. We're looking for tall people, basically, is what we're doing now. It's funny. We're going to talk about Love Boat episodes, but only the ones that feature tall people.
Here's a height chart of season 1.
Incredibly specific. Courtney beating himself up about what a horrible bartender he is. And Julie's telling him not to be so hard on himself. This is a weird scene, man. This is a really weird
insult. Scene. This is an insult to the cruise director profession. This entire scene.
Remember, we always said, well, Julie's like the heart of the show. Like, I don't know who wrote this. It's in such bad taste.
Julie had a bad episode. Julie had a bad episode as a professional, not as a lover. So we've gotten away from that, thank God. But this was a bad. After a few weeks of Julie being a good professional, this was not a good week for her.
So what I'm talking about is in the episode, Julie says, "Look, try to be a cruise director." Which again, I hope there's more to being a cruise director than placement of pillows and fending off creepy old men. So she offers a man a pillow, and he just immediately like, "What time do you get off work?" And she's like, "Oh, I get off at midnight and I'm having a bourbon and water with a good book."
I also am having a bourbon and water because I am a cruise director.
There you go.
Old Granddad Jack Daniels is one of the greatest characters we have had on this damn boat. We have gotten away from the one scene, few lines,
like the two women. Remember the two women that were in
and we had that weird couple in the early episode with the teeth, and it's like we've gotten away from them. They've gone more main cast only.
This guy, Yeah.
This guy was on here for 4 lines. He was great. He was a
Dude,
creep.
he got so
took
much
the
work.
pillow. He gave Julie the win. Like, he didn't press it. He didn't press it like Clark Tyler did.
No, he didn't try to grab the
Right.
pillow
But
out
he
of her
was
hand.
great. He was like, what would you say if I told you my name was Jack Daniels? And it was just like, it was great. He was great. That guy could be on this boat every week and I would be happy. He was
I wonder
fantastic.
if that ever worked in any time.
You know, they list him in the credits as Granddad Jack Daniels.
Oh, it comes back. What a great Granddad Jack Daniels is great.
Great character.
Yeah, great Halloween costume right there.
Hero.
Oh,
I have 4 lines. I am going to creep
I'm
you
gonna
out,
nail him.
but also I'm going to like give Joey the Duke, and you're going to love me by the end. That's it.
It's so funny.
It's so good.
Oh, here comes Courtney. All right, Courtney's going to give it a try. He sees someone sleeping, and he just like throws the pillow under his neck. And he demands to know if he's having a good time. He's like, "Are you having fun?"
This poor bastard is sleeping. He's sleeping on
guy.
the boat. By the way, he's sleeping on the boat like fully clothed. Like,
yeah, it's
gotta
just
be hot,
not,
right?
It's and then Literal the Giant wakes him up. Good Lord.
This Elegante comes and just like destroys you with a pillow and then starts yelling at you.
Just screaming at you. Are you having a good time? Like, what? So
it would have been funnier. It would have been funnier if it was the same guy from the bar. If he was tormenting
I looked to see. I hoped it was when I saw
that.
It,
actually would have been funnier.
That would have been funnier. Absolutely. Yeah, I kind of hoped it was, but I was like, okay with it not. But yeah, that would have been hilarious. This guy just keeps, if all of them.
For all the choices they make to make things smaller, that was one where they didn't need a second guy. They actually should have just kept the same guy getting terrorized by this. Like, the end of the episode should have been him falling on top of that guy or something like that. Like, just like.
I was hoping that guy would be swimming laps at 5 o'clock in the morning out in the deck, and then just a continuation. See it. Just Courtney is just. Let's just say Courtney's just a human shit show, basically. Just just a mess. Oh,
and yet, by the end of this dumb episode, I like him more than most of the characters.
I like him more than Bill.
I know.
Or Stephanie.
It doesn't make any sense. Because we hate this, right? We hate this nonsense slapstick stuff.
It's just, but there's no point.
Right. But it's like
definitely the lesser of 3 evils.
He was at least endearing compared to all these other idiots on this show.
Right. Back to Bill. Stupid Bill. Seats himself next to Stephanie. Orders 2 champagne cocktails, which I made a note. Is that just champagne or what is in a champagne?
I looked it up because I knew we'd talk about it.
Yeah.
Because first of all, it's before 10 a.m. Because she makes a point that her mom said never to have champagne before 10 a.m. with a stranger. So there's a lot of things you can do on.
That's the advice her mom gave her. Great, thanks, Mom. Way to set that ceiling nice and high.
There's a lot of variations to this, but the baseline seems to be for a champagne cocktail: sugar, champagne, or like a sparkling wine, bitters, and like a twist of lemon. Now, I saw a couple where there was like a second booze on top of that.
That's what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But aren't you just kind of watering down the champagne by not adding another booze? Aren't you just sort of?
Well, like I saw cognac in there. I saw a couple other variations. It seems like you can get away with a lot of stuff, but they make a point how easy it is to make, which at least explains why Isaac brought it back so fast. But it is a strong opening move to go for at 10 a.m.
Don't people get wrecked on champagne though? Don't they?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not much of a. It just doesn't taste so good. But
I enjoy. If I was on a cruise, I would be morning drinking. Absolutely, I think that's one of the great. I think that's one of the great things you can do. But I don't think champagne as a morning drink. Like I would have Irish. There'd be Irish in my coffee. There would be the mimosa. There would be the Bloody Mary. There'd be the classics.
Right.
Champagne cocktail doesn't seem like an eye opener, as Isaac put it. So
I think Mrs. Taylor would go right for the champagne cocktail. I feel like that's
But
right up her alley.
but again, she is someone who likes the classics in terms of like the Irish coffees and things like that.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
just it's an unusual thing, although I guess it's not that different than like a mimosa, right? Like ultimately,
I mean, if it's lemony and it's citrusy,
yeah,
I kind of get it.
yeah.
It's just,
But
why not just have it with a mimosa? Maybe it's lemon instead of, because you're adding lemon and then sugar, so it's like just.
and again, much like Clark Tyler, it
Mm.
worked.
Yeah,
But like part of the reason it worked is because he basically got her drunk in the
you got
morning.
hammered in the morning.
So, which way to go? But like
I'm the richest man on this boat.
yep,
Have this drink.
yep. And my lips are loose. So,
And this Bill cannot shut up. He already, I was the vice president of one of LA's biggest brokerage houses
so do
before he
you think?
abruptly like, gee,
So
shut up, dude.
knowing everything we find out, do you
Yeah.
think that was true?
Yeah.
Okay,
He can't
I
help
couldn't
himself.
decide. I couldn't decide what I thought was actually true or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
He's so
so
dumb, he can't help it.
yeah. Well, it's almost that thing where it's like, don't ask me about what's in this bag. Like it was almost a lot of that.
If he,
I liked half of this scene. I liked the Mrs. Cotter end of the scene. I thought that
well, that was her. Like
that was right.
yeah.
And again, it was very much every Welcome Back Cotter episode started with him telling a joke, and it would be
Mhm.
some bit between those two. Like you could
Some
tell, like it was like
story. Yeah, they had a nice
this is
little,
what she is good at. We're gonna write this up. Absolutely, that was great. Bill couldn't hold his own on that
worst
end of it.
actor ever, Johnny
Yeah,
Converse.
yeah, and it was just like a little. They were trying for this back and
Like
forth, and it was
banter.
just kind of like a back.
It was
Yeah, it was.
one-sided. He
Yeah,
couldn't no, because it wasn't even believable. Like
I
he was just
think
didn't have that human quality.
so. I was trying to recast it in my head. Now, what I did think
I
was
have it immediately. Yeah.
okay. So what I was going to say was, I will let you say who should have been Bill. You know who Bill should have been?
Mm.
The guy who got framed for embezzling. He would have been a better. He would have been better in that,
And even another good actor in that
right?
like, remember his I
That guy sucked.
he
The
sucked.
guy, right? So this, I think Johnny
Was it
Johnny Adidas was
Johnny
better
Depp?
was better than that guy.
He-
But he
Here's where
couldn't
I
hold his
go.
weight. Who do you think?
Here's where I go because number one thing this episode is lacking is star power.
Oh, I know where you're
Right?
going. All right.
I'm going Bill Bixby.
Oh, I
I
thought you were
don't
gonna
think
go. I thought you were gonna go Robert Urich, but you're
no, no, no,
absolutely
no, no,
right.
no, no. I think Bill Bixby, that would have been a
Oh my
perfect
god, yes, absolutely,
slide right in there.
absolutely, perfect casting.
Right?
He would have been great.
It would have worked. And they would have
Yeah,
had that they could have had that little banter thing because he was
yeah,
good at that. That
yeah.
little I think he would have been
Yep.
perfect in that.
Oh, you're 100% right. That would have been so much better.
They don't listen to us. What can we do? And here's where I was like, Stephanie remains quiet on the subject of what she does for a living. So she's not answering any questions. Which, you know what? Is probably the smart thing to do if when you just meet someone for the very first time. Maybe you
Well,
don't
because I mean,
become an
it
open book.
does right, and it would maybe make some people just act a little differently if they knew you were a cop. I totally get that.
Of
Yeah.
course. I would definitely think so. I would think,
More so than a bank robber.
but at the same time, aren't they supposed to be on the ship for the same thing? Meaning,
They're two sides of the same coin, Mike.
you're in my head. Whew. Here we go. Stupid Rose walks hungover Noreen. Like she's weekend at Bernie's, drags her to a pool lounger.
Noreen tied one on last night.
Got hammered. Well, she was drinking scotch at 10 a.m. I mean, that was the start of her day. And then
I don't think that was 10 a.m., but yeah.
She went dancing at 10:15 a.m. with this complete stranger. Here comes creepy Clark, who's just stalking her at this point. Comes over and invites her for a brisk walk. because that'll help you
Yeah, no
be like,
thanks.
hey,
No thanks,
screw
Clark.
you, buddy.
Yeah.
But like, why are they out?
I
Why
saw
wouldn't she be just in this giant room that she spent all this money on? Like, what are you doing?
Now, Mike, I saw you hungover a couple months ago
Oof.
in various
Well, that
forms.
was that.
They're a
Yeah,
little different, but
that was a
still,
little,
how
yeah.
would you have felt if I had said, "Hey, Mike, let's get a brisk walk"?
He just wouldn't have. They would have just
Wouldn't
been a.
happen.
It wouldn't have
Wouldn't
happened.
happen. It wouldn't happen.
I wouldn't have made a scene. I just wouldn't have happened.
Clark is wearing a shirt that I absolutely wore in like first grade.
That's funny.
In this scene. That is it's like the blue shirt with the orange stripe and the white cut. Like that was absolutely every child in 1983 had that shirt.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was this whole brisk walk thing. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
And then Rose is saying, go ahead and I'll be fine on my own. It's just I don't care about this storyline. Like they're not doing nothing that like the actions that are happening in this scene aren't drawing me in to care anything about the main characters of this particular storyline. It's just
I wonder if it would have been more interesting if Rose was into Clark and Noreen wasn't.
I could get into that. Then that's some logic.
And then Noreen reluctantly went because Rose was still hung up on her dead husband.
Right.
Something like that, right? Like
some kind of link between the two
but this weird bipolar reaction from Rose.
Yeah, she's a lunatic, man.
And the only thing they do, I think they do it in the next scene, is where it's like they try to explain it like, well, I wanted you to come on this cruise to meet a lot of people. But it's like that's not a thing. Like,
what, are you going to throw multiple men at me? So you want me to seal the deal with creepy guy here, then move on to the next? Like,
right? Like she is basically pimping her out and then getting mad at the pimping. So,
I think this is like Single White Female Part 2. They go on a cruise together like 20 some years later,
and they're related.
Yeah. Here comes Courtney sitting in his cabin at the tiniest desk I've ever seen a man sit at. See how small his desk was? It was crazy.
It's like Gulliver.
It's like Buddy the Elf when they showed him like going to school in the North Pole. It was the tiniest little desk. I could not stop laughing. I froze it just to see it. It was just ridiculous.
Do you think they went for a tall guy, or do you think it was just a coincidence? Like, it does really add something to it, but they never really like mention it.
I mean, let me ask you. So if you were say we were doing auditions for this role, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And 3 people show up, 2 normal sized humans throw themselves onto a ship, and then Courtney does it. Who are we going with?
Yeah. He got the offer in the room. Like, so.
He didn't even have to say anything. Like, here you go, Courtney. Okay, he's sitting at his very tiny desk saying how much he hates ships and being at sea. And Julie, who loves to get over involved in people's lives, asked if he's told his family, but he says he's the last of the male Stubig seamen. And he can't bring himself to be honest about it. But he can be honest as he pulls a leotard. It's so.
Yeah, I was like, what are they gonna? I was like, what are they gonna do?
What's it gonna
be? There was enough time. We had like a minute to think about what it was gonna be, right? And I was like, I guess. I feel like you had to do a little more of a. They didn't really. I was actually very impressed. They did not hit hard on the, effeminate part of ballet, which was what I was worried about because of the time.
That was the low hanging fruit right there. I thought they did with that too.
They didn't do it.
Well, they didn't have to because he's so uncoordinated. It was like, it couldn't be more obvious. They didn't have to play that card.
Yeah, but it was fine. At least the story's moving in a direction, I guess.
I guess. He says he practices. He puts his leotard on. Which, do you have to put a leotard on to practice ballet?
Practice how you play.
I mean, I practice, different
Practice
sports.
how
You
you
have to
play.
be. That's true. That's true. Dress for the job you want. Is that where this goes?
Yeah.
So
He
every
says
morning.
he practices. He says he
Every
practices every
morning.
day at 5 a.m. Right? We have established this is a 3-day cruise. So you practice every day. You practice one morning.
One morning so far. Every morning, meaning one morning. So
Great
unless he
job,
has a
Corey.
Lido deck wherever he is. Who God knows. I don't know. He's one of those. I don't know. Courtney says his father and uncle will kill him if they ever find out. He's ruined their dream of him becoming a sea captain. There's some things later with this storyline that I do take issue with. I just want to plant those seeds now.
Okay.
They're talking about the long line of Steubings.
Yes.
Excuse me. Here's the dining room. Stupid Rose is back. She remarks on the perfume Noreen is wearing. Here's where Rose starts to things get a little weird.
Where the worm turns.
Yeah. Noreen's insisting Clark means nothing to her. Rose says, to your point, I think that was a good point. You said Rose advises Noreen not to limit herself to one man.
That was their one attempt at like an explanation.
That's her issue.
Yeah.
Be super promiscuous. Don't stick to one.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. A few seconds later, Clark invites himself to join him again. This Joker is just locked in.
He knows one person on this boat.
That's it. Oh, so he says something, and they suggest they go see the movie that's being screened. Noreen visibly perks up, and Rose says that both she and Noreen have already seen the movie. Which
they don't name check. They don't name check the movie, which I was disappointed.
Yeah, I wanted to hear what it was.
Rose at least convinces Noreen that she's right. You should meet multiple people. And then as soon as Clark shows up, she's like, nope, screw that.
Yeah, you're right. Bye. I'll watch a movie I've already seen.
She doesn't give Rose 5 seconds.
Like, careful what you ask for. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Just going crazy.
Like this boat is swimming with old, Clark. Go pawn off Rose on somebody else.
I mean, this storyline should have been called The Awakening of Noreen. Jeez. Like, settle down, Noreen.
Good for Noreen.
I mean, good for Noreen. Okay, over in the casino, Bill places a bet. This was just so stupid. This guy can't keep his mouth shut. He's flaunting money everywhere. Just, Bill, shut up. Just shut up. He tells Stephanie he'd like to celebrate his win with her. To do the second oldest thing? Was that what it was? Was that the second oldest thing? The oldest thing you can do
originally it was, let's go, because people talk like this. Let's go celebrate the most in the oldest way in the book. And then Bill thinks he's going to get his Converse polished. And all of a sudden, she wants to go dancing. And as we have seen many times, there is an entire room on this boat dedicated to dancing.
Yeah.
But these two schmucks are outside the pool dancing to no music again.
Whole Davy Diodora and stupid Stephanie are out there. Like, come on. You are right, though. Because we've seen this a few times where they're and they're weird dancing. Like, they're just so smushed. Like, the
plumber poet did it.
Yeah.
And there was at least one more that did it. Like, it's stupid. There's a whole room for dancing.
I mean, cheers to the pool area for being a multi-purpose area where, you can shoot rifles, you can dance, you can do all sorts of things. You can play ping pong, you can have book signings, you can do everything in this one pool. Like, is the rest of the ship like the old bug pool in Tampa? Is the rest of the ship like that? Like, nobody wants to go there?
It must be, but it's not that late. So it's late enough that the movie has let out hours ago, but it's not late enough that the casino has just closed.
Right.
It's a weird. And again, this pool
20-minute movie.
The pool was smashed, packed.
Yeah.
But now the only people there are these two people dancing, and poor Rose.
Where are all the
sitting at
people?
that sad-ass
And
table.
creepy Rose. Watching people dance in the dark by the pool. Way to go, Rose.
With her orange juice. Fred's
just
not dead,
watching.
Rose. By the way, Fred jumped off of something. Like, that's R.I.P.
Fred's been hiding from years because you're creepy, Rose. You're creepy and nosy. That was creepy. And they show her, and she's
Yeah. Like, it was like they almost like separated. It was weird. But the the dance ends, and then they decide they're gonna go celebrate with the real most old-fashioned way or whatever. Why does Bill make such a big deal about going back to his room, as opposed to the cop?
Because he couldn't wait to tell another person.
Right.
About it. It's so. If he would have just gone to her room, whole thing would have been cool.
Exactly. Like, this guy is such a friggin' chauvinist pig idiot.
He's so just.
He couldn't wait to get caught. He could not wait to get caught.
It's like he came on the boat to tell someone he stole the money, and he was not going to stop. It's the first person he met. It's not even like, oh, I found someone I can trust. It's the first person I met. I tried to grab her bag.
He talked to 3 people on this boat. He talked to Doc, he talked to Isaac, and he talked to the girl. That's it.
Sucks. Stupid. Just get off the boat, dude. Bill sucks. Rose returns to her cabin, hoping to find Noreen. Uh-oh. Rose is about to go psycho.
She runs around like Donald Pleasance.
She's all
the Halloween. Like, she's just chasing Noreen.
She calls the ship's operator to get Clark's room number. Another great safety feature. If anyone wants to find you, they can. Lock your door.
She calls and gets that number in 3 seconds.
It didn't even ring more than one ring.
No. Like, hold on. I have everyone's number memorized. Hold,
who?
Please.
Yeah, I need Clark's room number. Okay. Like, how much info did she give? It's just crazy.
How about why? Why do you need this number?
Yeah, I don't. So she rushes down the hall. Sees the do not disturb sign hanging on the doorknob. For a moment, I'm like, she's just gonna bust in or knock.
Nope. That is the kryptonite of this ship. Is people respect the do not disturb sign.
Like, damn it! If I had just gotten here before they put the sign on the doorknob, I could have knocked.
Yep.
But now I literally can't.
It stopped John Ritter.
They'll throw you off the ship if you do disturb.
Right. It's just the one rule of the ship. It's the only real rule of the boat.
It's the only thing keeping us civilized on this boat. Or
that monkey wouldn't have stolen all that stuff.
Hey, put the sign on your door if you don't want your stuff stolen.
We've seen no evidence of somebody going through the stop sign yet.
No one's going through that. Yep. It's a big paper sign. Respect the sign. Here comes Julie, just trying to be a busybody. Everyone's business. She knocks on Steubing's cabin door, Captain Steubing, not Courtney Steubing's cabin door at 5 a.m. to lead him above deck. Kind of a weird little when the captain was waking up sort of thing.
So it does confirm what we've always wondered. He does sleep in his office.
Of course. Well, I think that's his cabin office. I think he's got
but we just never saw it. Yeah. We just never saw it. His robe has his initials on it.
I saw that too,
which was nice. Julie has already indicated in this episode that she works till midnight.
Yeah.
And then she has a book and a bourbon. And here she is at 5 a.m., bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, in Captain Steubing's office. And she's dressed. Julie's not sleeping a lot at night, Mike. I can't imagine what she's doing being this awake. So.
The thing that makes her so good at her job is the thing that's going to get her fired from her job.
Oh, Julie.
They just had she's protecting herself. She can't order a bunch of weird delivery pizzas on, when you're on a cruise ship.
I feel like we are now in this weird third act of Julie in season 1 where
Starting to
she's
teeter.
past Hornball Julie, but I don't know that we're getting Heart of Gold Julie back.
I don't know.
We're just kind of getting this weird third version of Julie, which is fine, but I don't know.
Just the one that doesn't sleep, that fends off creepy men. That it's just a weird combo. I'm sorry.
And we also need to get out of the Julie haircut era. We gotta get out of here because there is a scene earlier. I think it's the one where Courtney is shoving pillows under people. They have the exact same haircut. Courtney and Julie. It's exactly the same.
I told you, like Potsy, that episode before, they have the same.
We need to get to season 2 Julie pretty quick. So it's getting worse.
Let me ask you, so do you think she has an updated look in season 2? Unlike, and I'm not saying during season 2, I'm saying season 2 premiere.
I think no, because I actually do think I've at least cheated a little bit to see. I think we don't get obvious Julie getting out of this awful bowl haircut. I think maybe mid season next year.
Wow, she was really rolling with the Joan London look.
Well, we don't know when they tape these things. It's kind of like us, right? We could be taping this years before it gets released.
We don't even know. It could be the mid 90s right now. You never know.
Hang 10 dudes.
Yeah, dude. Bogus. It's radical.
The internet was not real. So
it's not real. This whole thing's a simulation. I'm sorry. Oh, so Julie leads him above deck, or to Lido deck, I should say. I don't know what he's doing. It's not practicing ballet. They're calling it that, but it just, I don't know what.
He's being chased by wasps.
He's just running around. He looks like he's on like PCP. He's acting very strange and diving around and just kind of weird. He accidentally plunges into the pool after he trips over his feet.
Shocking.
Shocking. Right, that's sure it happens every morning.
Yeah.
Stubing orders him to dry off, get changed, and report to the bridge for duty. And here's where I thought Courtney might just kill him, snap his neck like that. Mice and men.
What if he just picked him up and threw him over the boat?
just choke slams him over the edge. Goodbye.
Right to hell.
Courtney refuses and tells him how much he hates the sea. And I legit thought Stubing was going to smack him. I thought I could see that happening.
I watch these now. Sometimes I watch them thinking what you're thinking. And I thought you were giving a standing ovation to Courtney because he just basically told Stubing to go pound sand.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
He storms off. Good for you, Courtney. Apparently you can't walk or run, but you can.
Yep.
One of my favorite things about the show, and I've brought it up before, we got to see right here, and that is the sharing of one pair of pajamas.
I know you love that. You do love that. Yeah.
I don't know. I remember seeing it when I was a kid. Doc did it, and I'm like, oh, that must be like each other.
Do you think those are ship pajamas, or do you think those are Bill's pajamas?
I think those are probably Bill's pajamas because they're in Bill's room. Maybe that's why he wanted to go back to the room. Maybe it wasn't the money. Maybe it's because he wanted to wear his own pajamas.
Such a weird move. It's just such a weird move because it's that is definitely because she's in a dress, right? So, she needs something to wear. So I guess Bill unpacked his money bag. So he was able to throw her.
All he has is the clothes he's wearing and a pair of pajamas and $1 million.
And a horse costume. He's got all top bottom outfits. This whole scene, we are now in what I consider the worst scene. So because we're in here for a while.
This is the worst thing that's ever been on the show, and I'm not even trying. I'm not trying to be funny.
No,
just poor writing, poor acting, poor everything. This scene is terrible.
Inconsistency throughout.
Just stupid.
Yep.
Bill invites Stephanie to travel with him to Rio. Explains that's his ultimate destination after he departs in Mazatlan. Uh, they don't even know each other. It's just not. It just stupid. They just.
But they're in love.
That,
They're already in love.
that happened fast.
We're
I
less.
thought it was
We are
supposed to be
probably
the 70s.
less. We are probably less than 24 hours. Because there's no way this is like early or late in the morning, right?
No.
This is early in the morning.
It just.
So this whole day started with him plying her
champagne
with
cocktail. Yeah.
Right. Like I get that it's the Love Boat. I do get it. And I give that a certain level of like rope, right?
Sure,
But
I get
this,
that.
and especially when I figured out this was a 3-day cruise, they jump it to a level so much sometimes with marriage proposals and love, and it's like just ask her to go to Rio with you. Doesn't have to be love. It doesn't have to be love.
Hey, how would you like to go to? That's it.
It really diminishes. It really diminishes the term, Mike.
Listen, if this was the adventure boat, okay,
right.
But this is the Love Boat.
What if it was the loose hookup boat? No,
apparently that's what it is. That's what's going on. That's why Rose is all PO'd, and then this guy is turning to pieces. He hooks up with a lady, and now he's just like it's just stupid. It's just stupid. He has this bag of money. He's going to Rio. He already has plans, and he's just going to go. You know what? Let me just. I don't know. It's just dumb.
Like, okay, so basically, he loves her. She loves him, but she's not going to go because he has already told her he doesn't have a job. Which again, he didn't need to say that.
Reason.
He didn't need to. He didn't need to say that.
You could pretend, vacation.
You could make up anything. You're on a boat, right? It's not like she's pressing him for answers. He then says that, but I love you, blah, blah, blah. We can get by on love. And then she's like, yeah, but you always need money. She's really hitting on the money thing.
She really is hitting the money thing hard.
And which is fine.
I get it.
There are
it shouldn't even get to that, though.
There are a million things you can say, even in that spot that you have put yourself in. There are a million things you can say. I got an inheritance. My family's wealthy. The reason I quit.
I just retired. Like anything.
The reason I quit was because I won the lottery. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter.
I'm rich. I inherited anything. You could say anything.
Here's one. Listen, I've got a job opportunity down there. I'm going to take it. If you're not comfortable going right now, look me up in 6 weeks or something.
There you go. There you go. And not you don't go. Well, I'm not.
You certainly don't need to be like, oh yeah. By the way, here's the sack of cash I stole.
I don't have a suitcase in this, and I didn't steal it. Like, you dummy.
Even there are a lot of jobs between no job and cop that would be turned off by you stealing $1 million.
Anybody would be. Anybody. Right. You're talking about leave your life and come with me. Oh, by the way, I steal so much money. I'm on the run.
You know that scene in Home Alone where the old man is talking to Kevin, the shoveler, and he's just like, oh, I have all these problems. My son doesn't talk to me. Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, this is what happened with Bill. He was waiting to unload his story on the first person who showed up. And it's just like everything he told her, he did not need to tell her, and it would not even have been lying. It just would have been casual first date stuff.
If he had just worn shoes that needed to be shined, he could have gotten all this out in a 10-minute like shoe shine kit from some guy that he'd never see again, and it would be totally fine. But this guy's just, again, we're going to find the broadest brush. This guy's an idiot.
Hey, Bill, you know what? You know what else, too? $1 million in Rio, you'll find somebody else to love, baby.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be fine. Like, just so stupid. And it's just, and of course, Stephanie hears all this nonsense, lets out this long, weary sigh because she's known him for hours.
Almost the whole day.
And walks over. It took her less time to find her badge when she's not working than it did to find her ticket for the trip that she was on.
Do you think she had it like up in a display? the whole
I
night.
don't,
Like Bill just didn't see it.
just in case. Yeah, just kind of like hanging just a little bit, like telling on herself. Like what? Uh, she's a cop, and she begins by giving him his Miranda rights. And I'm just like, oh, like don't. I don't want to take off points for procedural issues, but like, come on, guys, let's
The
just.
only point this scene gets is that he's like, I don't want to blow your spot here, and he does bring up International Wooders, which I think is the first time we've actually
Smart.
gotten
Yeah.
that. That is the only plus in this scene.
Yeah.
You know,
I was
he
kind of
shuts her
hoping that
down real fast. Yeah.
I was hoping he would hit her with the diplomatic immunity, Mr.
Diplomatic
Riggs.
immunity
Love that movie. Love that movie.
has been revoked.
That's good when he ends at the end.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, because they killed it. Remember, he had that girlfriend. They killed her. Olivia, was it Olivia Diabo? Maybe from the
Patty
Wonder
Kinsick.
Years. Right? Yeah.
Patty Kinsick.
Is that who it was?
No, it's not the girl from the Wonder Years. It's Patty Kinsick was the guy from Oasis's girlfriend.
Okay, that
not
was
Noel,
her.
the other one, Liam Gallagher.
Liam?
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Lethal Weapon 2 is one of the great sequels of all time.
I love Lethal Weapon 2.
Yes. Yep.
With the drive-through scene of Joe Pesci about ordering tuna.
Yep.
Oh, it's great. It's great. You are right. He does touch on you're out of your jurisdiction, which she is.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, you better read. You'd have more luck finding someone with the name of Miranda than you would read me my Miranda rights.
Although, everybody's from Los Angeles on this boat, so
it's just L.A. You're basically in L.A. This whole I like how he's like, well, if you turn me in, you'll just be buried in paperwork. Like, what are you talking about? Where are we getting the paperwork from? Take dead. Don't be bothered.
I guess he was trying to put her in a spot where she only found out he was a crook because she banged him. Is that what he was trying to do? That's not very husbandly, Bill.
I think Bill's sort of like thinking that maybe he was like a greater lover than he really is. He was just like, do you want more of Mr. Bill or do you want to be doing paperwork? And she's like, oh, she's totally gonna pick Mr. Bill.
Do you like
she can't keep away from
fit of that pajama top?
That is my pajama top. You can't read me my Miranda rights when we're sharing a single pair of pajamas.
Oh God.
And here's the icing on this crappy cake. Is at the very end. He asks her, oof, you ever imagine what it would feel like to be rolling in dough? Just the douchiest.
So in the course of this scene, they go from hooking up to in love to concerned about money to being told that he is a bank robber to revealing that she's a cop for her trying to arrest him in pajama pants. Then all of a sudden they're back into it.
Just keeps going.
And she is swimming in dollar bills like it is cash grab 75 or something.
And she's rolling in the money and she says the words, "You're crazy."
And that scene goes on for like 30 seconds.
It looked like that scene from Indecent Proposal.
Yes. They play it
just
like
going like soft.
They play it like she won a lottery. And she's supposed to be a serious cop.
Again, really shooting the women in the foot, like
bad episode for all the women, fashion forward, what we always say or whatever like that. This is not a empowering women episode by any
She's
means.
like, I'm a cop, and he's like, yeah, it means you answer phones, girl. Don't worry about it. You want to do paperwork? Like he's just such a jerk.
What if I throw a lot of money at you, literally?
Yeah. Oh, just Well, how much? I don't really know because it's just in a pile.
Okay. By the way, smooth criminal. If you had $1 million at the start, A, how would you know? Because it's just loosely put in your suitcase.
Yeah, how many bills are under the bed now?
Chucked it all over this hotel.
I hope you turn the air off.
Lose like headphones in a hotel room, you'll never find them.
It's so easy to lose a flat piece of paper when you strew them all about. Just
Scene goes on so long.
dude, that was a brutal. There was so much added that didn't need to be added, but on top of it, like you're saying, it was just like, we get it. Teehee. Fucking bunch of crap, man. Oh.
Awful.
Julie drops in on Courtney and apologizes for bringing the ballet. Yeah, no kidding, Julie. Mind your own beeswax.
Seriously.
You don't have enough to do.
It's not her spot to do that.
How does she have time?
Well, even if she does, that's not her. Like,
no,
that is Courtney's thing to say. You're blowing up his spot.
And she's at work. You shouldn't have time for all this.
You know what I think? It's one of two things. Either Julie didn't want to have Courtney around anymore, or Julie was like, Stubing sucks. here's some comeuppance for Stubing. It's one of the two.
Hey, were you having a good dream? Cool. Come with me.
Yeah. I can wake this old doddering fool up at 5 a.m. and ruin his family's lineage all at the same time. So
hey, quickly, look how early I can ruin your entire day.
Right.
Let me wake you up to spoil it. Oh.
Don't apologize, Julie.
No, you did what you did. There's no apologizing. You knew what you're doing.
You know exactly
and she can't be dumb enough to think it's just like a one sum situation. Like only one thing could possibly happen. What did she think was going to happen? Stubing's going to go. I
think she was trying to grease the wheel for Courtney to have the conversation, but that's not her business. I also think she enjoyed. I think she enjoyed Stubing having to wake up at 5 a.m. to find out that the last of the Stubings is a ballet dancer. So,
hey, Captain Stubing, wake up! I want to crush your world real quick. Come on, come to the Lido deck. You got to see something crazy that's going to rock your world, and make you upset. Come on, your brother might have a heart attack. Come on.
Oh, R.I.P. Courtney Stubing, by the way, the third.
Hi, Courtney. Well, just from the giantism, he's not gonna. You know what I mean? His organs are probably huge, like Andre.
So I don't think we ever get Courtney the fourth back. But do you think we get like Stubing's brother, Courtney's dad, at some point, or no? I think he's a small man. Do you think it's like who was Muggsy Bogues in 1980?
Like Hank Hill's dad, whose like legs are cut off at the knee, like that kind of guy.
Do you think we get Cotton Hill?
Or you know what you do? You bring on Paul Williams. That's who you bring on as Stubing's brother, like this little
always trying to get
guy.
Paul Williams on this show.
Paul Williams. He wrote the theme song. Got to get him on there. Captain Stubing bursts into the room, dismisses Julie. I love when he like walks in the room and he's like, "You're dismissed," and he's all,
you know what?
But
by the way, this is not a military vessel. You knock on that door, you wait for me to acknowledge you.
Yeah.
Do not knock and walk in. That is rude.
Yeah, and keep your little stupid 2-finger salute too. We know it's not legit.
You're right. Courtney should have choke slammed him.
Would have been great. Just splash. He bursts in the room, dismisses Julie. He asks Courtney if he really hates the sea. Courtney says more than anything.
More than this episode, Courtney? I don't think so.
And just when you think it can't get worse, Stubing makes this statement. He says he understands. His parents wanted him to be a surgeon. Wait a minute. You made this big spiel about Stubing men following tradition of being sea captains and admirals, and you're going to say, for the sake of a story, you're going to write in that his parents wanted Captain Stubing. No, they didn't. We already met Stubby.
We met Stubby.
What are you talking about?
Exactly. He's not that guy.
He never wanted. No, he's not. He wants you to be a captain, and he's going to rip you because you're a crappier captain than him.
Right. He doesn't want you to be a doctor.
He didn't want you to be a surgeon. Where did this come from?
It's just lazy.
But he insisted on following his dream of becoming a captain.
Yeah.
This is fiction.
Yeah.
This is pure fiction.
Right.
And he urges Courtney to pursue his passion in life.
Because you gotta love what you're doing in life if you want to be happy, Mike. Don't forget that. Don't ever forget.
They took the long way to get to that message. They could have said this like
Is
I didn't need to meet Courtney to hear that message. Just
I know what you're gonna say. Is
uh,
is Steubing a worse captain than Courtney is a dancer?
it's incomplete. I haven't seen him do anything. He might be better, but I've never seen him steer anything or start anything or move nothing. The only thing I've seen him do is fall when he was getting on another boat from that boat. That's the only thing nautical I've seen.
Did you
So I'm
catch
going to
that
say,
line?
hmm,
Did you catch that line in the scene when Courtney's like apologizing because he felt bad, and he's like, "I'll work hard, and I want to watch you command this ship." I was like, "What are you going to gain
yeah,
from
apparently
that?"
you want to learn how to be in charge of 4 other people. Great, you came to the right TV show.
I hope you like dinners.
Yeah, I hope you like bartenders. Seem like it was just so weird.
Yeah,
Oh, and there's no like delegation, right? There's Julie's in charge of Gopher, but I guess
Doc can do whatever he
Doc
wants.
is just
Yeah,
I don't know. The
well,
whole thing's weird. Noreen finds stupid Rose leaning on the deck railing and announces that here we go. Clark asked me to marry him, which again, everyone
2 days, 2 days.
why does this keep happening? It's like, what is this, sea air? Like
They
the
both
the
live. We've established they both
plumber
live in Los
poet, like
Angeles. You don't
just
have to
date.
get married.
You don't have to. You live
No,
across it.
you
He
go
owns the
date.
building you work in.
He already said he's
What do
gonna
you?
come see you Monday to fix the floor.
He already tried to grab your
Marry him.
suitcase. He's not going anywhere. Why are you? It doesn't make any sense. They love the quick marriages on a plumber poet, like all these. Let's
At
get
least
married.
the plumber poet lived in a different
Made a
state.
little more sense. A little more
This-
sense. But this is just
These guys live
nuts.
at La Brea. I don't know where La Brea is, but it's close, I guess.
It's yeah, it's really close. It's right. It's all in the same city. It's just an area. Oh, and I'm on board with Rose here because Rose is saying how stupid it is to marry someone you barely know. Amen. Rose is like, I want you to meet people, not marry somebody after knowing them for 48 hours.
Fine, but Rose is all over the place now. So,
oh, Rose is stalking strangers. You don't know what. She's lost her mind at this point.
Right. Like, I get, yeah, Rose, there is some truth in what she's saying now, but everything she said in the first 20 minutes has been contradicted by everything she did in the next 20 minutes. So Rose is not a reliable narrator.
No, Rose is just a human boomerang of emotion. Like she can't stabilize. She's all over the place.
Right.
She's just yelling, saying, you know, you've been a spinster all your life. You're an easy mark. Then she screamed. That was screwed up,
harsh.
Man.
That was harsh.
Because then it was like, oh, she doesn't want. Maybe she's after that money. Maybe that's part of it too. She worries about her few. Yeah, and then he yells, "You're acting like a fool."
The dental laboratory money.
Yeah, all that money from testing teeth.
Yeah, but Clark Tyler's got money. He's got his own building.
He doesn't need anything. She just has to be straight up with Clark Tyler. I don't want to marry you. Why would it? It's just stupid. It's like people get on the ship and somebody hits them on the head or they get drugged. Everybody wants to get married.
Which speed dating is worse? Is it Clark and Noreen marriage proposal, or is it Bill and Stephanie I love you?
Ooh. I'm gonna say Bill because Bill's just so dumb because Clark didn't have a suitcase with all that money and a plan. He's abandoning his plan.
I think you're right too, because I feel like Noreen and Clark are like of the same society circles, and you know they have like that makes sense, right? Like I don't think they should.
Eventually, I get it, but yeah,
right. I don't think they should have had a marriage proposal, but like they absolutely should have dated outside.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, the Bill and Stephanie thing makes zero sense. I agree.
No logic there at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Stephanie tells stupid Bill that he should report report this to Captain Steubing. But then she's like the worst cop ever. Like what? For what? What are they going to put you in the vault? Well, you're like, what are you?
Yeah, they're going to tie you to Doc's medical desk.
Yeah, like
But this is where like Stephanie, like, you know what's funny? It's like she came in all hot
she
and then
came
she
in
kind of got
super hot.
lazy. Bill was
Yeah.
right. It's like, you don't want to do all this paperwork.
No.
You're right
It
though. You should have
this was
called. You should have
she
called
should have.
Stewie.
She
Yeah.
should have immediately,
It seems like a lot.
not say I really should. That's what you do. Because if you say you
Yeah.
really should, then you're looking for a reason not to do it,
Right.
essentially.
Right.
Boy.
She
But then
wanted that. She
Mhm.
wanted that strange available on demand the rest of the trip.
She wanted that dude to dump that money on her again because she just went crazy.
You're so crazy.
You're so crazy. I mean, is that what happens? Like if somebody dumped $1 million in cash, would I just, do you just turn into that person?
You don't know how you'd react
I don't know.
if $1 million in loose bills.
Ooh, Bill. Yeah, but then so now she's backpedaling. Well, can I trust you not to flee to Rio? Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, yeah. Can I have my suitcase back? Sure.
Here's the thing, though. Do you really care if you're Stephanie?
No,
Like, I get that you can't go with him,
because nobody knows.
but nobody knows, right? Exactly.
Right.
And
Like
Bill,
nobody
the only
knows.
person who knows is Bill, and he ain't gonna say anything.
Bill's not going to. Well, that's not
Well, he
true.
probably
Bill
would.
can't
He's a
stop talking.
blabbermouth, but
Yeah.
yeah, ultimately, right? But it's like the worst thing that happens for Stephanie if Bill gets off the boat is this guy she loves, which she'll wake up like tomorrow and realize that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
hammer.
so it's really a harmless crime for Stephanie. Just let this fool
Just
go.
let him go. Who cares? You want to deal with this dummy?
No, that money's probably not even real.
No, he's so stupid. It's
He
Monopoly money.
He robbed the Monopoly game.
Robbed the Monopoly convention and took off on a 3-day weekend.
It's $1 million in fine cars. No,
apparently she's colorblind and can't see the difference between those bills and the regular bills. It's just
yeah. This is
oh boy, just Noreen tells Clark she's turning down his proposal. Marriage wouldn't work because she's so independent. And he's like, your independence is what I love most about you over the course of the last 31 hours.
right. Also, what about your eyes?
Yeah. Hello. Let's talk about it. Just come on.
Do you think Bill's or Clark is just trying to get out of fixing that floor?
I think he's just trying to get her so hammered she'd agree to let him out of the whole floor deal. I'm going to ply you with drinks and then take you on a brisk walk. If you don't agree, I will not push you overboard.
Clark says that he is waiting around for Noreen when she changes her mind or whatever. Clark's got money. He's got no game, but he's got money.
Yeah, he's like,
he's not waiting around. He's you know what? If Noreen had been like, nah, Clark walks her out and then gets back on the boat.
Oh,
takes the next one. Like
a rotating door. Somebody's grabbing his arm and he's back on. Let's marry you.
This guy literally hit on her in line to get on the boat. Like he's just gonna,
He tried to grab her bag.
Right.
Like, don't forget, like it's a weirdly aggressive.
Yeah.
Does he just travel with an engagement ring? Like,
what's your meet cute story, guys? Oh, well,
we tried to rub my bag, and then I'd known him 31 hours, and for some reason he had an engagement ring.
Yeah. My sister had a bit of a schizophrenia fit, so.
And then Rose shot him and killed him.
I should never have let her sleep in the guest house.
Nope. She just watches other people dance in the dark while she cleans her weapon. Poor Rose.
The big spoiler here is Rose, of course.
Yeah.
Comes back in later seasons as a regular character, but not as Rose, as Mrs. Steubing.
Like a future Mrs. Steubing?
Future Mrs. Steubing. I think after Happy Days gets canceled, Marion Ross joins the show much later. Like, because I did my usual, like, who else pops up on this show?
Yeah.
And she basically is a regular. I think post Julie.
That's interesting.
It might have been that last season where, as we've established earlier in this episode, they're desperate. But I think
Because
Steubing gets married. Yeah.
she wasn't, like, these shows love a wedding, like a
Oh, and she's a
cruise
big star.
wedding.
Like anybody that was
Yeah.
on Happy Days is a big star. I mean, she's a legitimate star. To your point, it is more indicative of a weirdly wasted episode with
Yeah.
her. Like,
Because it wasn't even a likable character. I get going against type, like the Marsha
yeah.
Brady thing with the shorter hair, whatever, however you want to do that. But I thought it was an odd fit because it didn't.
Well, you
I
also
thought the role was a little beneath her, to be honest with you.
and you kind of like tag teamed her, and I actually like Noreen, the actress. I thought she did a really good job, but like you're already cutting into Marion Ross by having her in a two-hander, right? So it's like you didn't
You're
really give her
cutting
a lot.
time.
You didn't give her a lot to
Yeah.
do, right?
No,
Yeah,
I
so
didn't.
this would have been one of those ones where you let her carry the ball for the storyline, and they really didn't.
Yeah, it was weird. The ship is now in Mazatlan. Stephanie's asking Julie if she's seen Bill. Stupid Julie. Just spilling guts. She must be hanging out with Bill, Don't tell him, but tell him. He's so stupid. Julie tells her that earlier Bill had asked about a jewelry store and then asked her not to say anything to ruin the surprise. Why would he say anything?
I was gonna say,
He
so
can't help himself.
Does Bill get caught by Julie and then have to make it up?
No, I think this was his off my trail story. But the off my trail story is Bill can't shut up. Just shut up and
Get off
go.
the boat.
Just get off the boat.
Yeah.
Like, had
What
she
do you
said, no,
think-
I haven't seen him. Like, okay, he's
So
gone.
what are the hours between the scene, the previous scene where Bill's like, I'm not going to run on you, and this scene? Like, they're hooking up, I would imagine, right? So they're sleeping in the same room.
Yeah, I would think it wasn't like that a few minutes later.
So do you think he's like sneaking out while she's asleep? Like, is it that ridiculous?
But wouldn't the Mazatlan have to be on day 2, or is this day 3? Like, if it takes you 2 days to get here and you're on a 3-day cruise.
So they hook up.
How does this work?
They hook up day 2 because the breakfast. They have that conversation in the morning of day 3.
Right. It had to be more than a 3-day cruise.
Well, hold on. So he stole the money Friday night.
Right.
The cruise leaves Saturday, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
They hook up. They have the drinks and all that stuff Sunday in the casino Sunday. They hook up Monday.
Right.
Tuesday is the holiday. Yeah, you're right. There's a day missing somewhere.
Just like it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't add up. Yeah.
But like, why do you just leave? Just go. Or
him
don't.
coming back is
stupid.
Is ridiculous.
Stupid.
That's absolutely stupid. Yeah.
Dummy. And I just wrote here, Julie has zero awareness. Like, she can't keep a secret for anything. Don't tell Julie anything.
Yeah. But maybe Bill knew. Maybe that is actually the one thing Bill did well, is he was like, Julie will do a bunch of diversions for me.
It's just, yeah.
But once you're off the boat, she's never really going to find him in Mazatlan.
No, you're just going to be. He's just going to be distracted by some other lady that he gets he instantly falls in love with.
And by the way, like, I know that she's a LA cop. I don't think she's on like Stakeout, because she does not do a great job of tracking.
No,
she just kind of stands in the lobby and like turns her head a couple times.
Nothing. Like, what? Terrible cop.
I don't think she really wanted to find him.
No, of course not.
I think she wanted to convince herself that she looked enough that she could sleep when
I agree.
she goes to work on Tuesday and there is a report about the bank brokerage house being robbed.
Yeah, she doesn't want to look like. Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
She heads back to the cabin. She finds a letter left by Bill that basically says, I've been planning this for years. You are a terrible police officer. And an invitation to look him up if she's ever in Rio. I wouldn't even get out of here with that.
When did he do that?
She didn't see that. He snuck in there. Like, how did he even get in there?
Right. He has to find out where she stays. Wow. She's on the A deck. That's a whole flight of stairs.
Clearly, we're dealing with a super cop type situation here. Like, you have to,
or the greatest criminal mind of our generation.
Something. Where was this guy a couple weeks ago? We needed a proper plan A. Good Lord.
Oh no, to be fair, this guy would have been good
Yeah.
on the caper crew.
He would have gotten into the vault
He would have
easily.
gotten in the vault. The problem was he would have then
He would
screwed
have
it up.
told everybody. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, look what I found. Look what I've got. This guy's so stupid.
Plan E.
I think it's just his ultimate plan. He's like, I'm gonna come across as so stupid that it would just be like it wouldn't be plausible that I would successfully steal $1 million because I'm this dumb. Just Bill. Here's Rose. She's telling Noreen she's been thinking about how happy she's looked lately, and it reminded her of the way she used to look. I'm gonna stop right here. This is just ridiculous, lazy writing. She just goes right back to her original form. Single friend, it's that single friend thing. Go meet somebody, comma, you spend too much time with them, comma, go meet somebody. It's just I'm done with
Yeah.
Rose. It's a waste of time.
No, I agree.
Just
There's
like,
no
enough.
Like I said, my note is Rose, who is yet to be officially diagnosed with bipolar disease. Like, I mean,
Dude, she's crazy in this. Just
it's insane, and it's almost like I said, it's one of those things where, somebody wrote the first half of the script, somebody wrote the second third of the script, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, "Wait a minute, so
we have to wrap this up."
Yeah,
everything ends in a marriage or like a new friendship. It's just a whole. Isaac's delivering a champagne cocktail to Stephanie. I didn't order one of those, she says, and Bill appears. Like, I don't know how he get back on the ship. Did he swim?
right.
Like, how did you get back on the ship? Did you find a giant seahorse?
The scene before Gopher points out the
there's an hour left.
Is up.
Yeah.
Right. So is he on the boat the whole time?
What is going on?
Yeah.
Like, stop it. It'd be better if that note was the end of it. He appears and says, Rio just wouldn't be the same without you. Yeah, because you're not going to Rio without her because you're so dumb, Bill. Stephanie makes it clear she's going to arrest him once they're back in LA. Like,
great. Thanks.
Great. That's awesome. Great. He asked her if she'd be willing to wait around for him, and she says yes. And then they start smooching in the commercial. I wrote a note here. The note is, let me be Bill in this situation. Okay, number 1, no champagne cocktail sent. Number 2, 0 chance this super cop is keeping me from my retirement in Brazil. And also, this is why it's important not to overshare. Those are my 3 takeaways with this horrible storyline.
Bill will end up with neither the money or the girl.
No.
Like,
nothing.
You would have at least gotten one. And guess what, Bill? The money, you've been working on this plan for years. For years.
How did he keep his job? He's so dumb.
Here's the thing. Go to Rio. Go to Rio. Take a beat, right? Take a minute.
Yeah, 30 day. And then 30 day. Chill out.
In a couple months, if you're still like, oh man, I still miss that cop.
Can't get her off my mind. Right. Blah blah blah. There's ways.
You figure it out. You figure it out. You're making a rash decision at the worst possible time.
It's the first shiny thing he sees. I must have that. Like, bro.
Yeah.
You got a bag full
of get off that love boat, man. Get on that common sense boat.
No kidding. Just hello. While departing the ship, weird, Clark invites Rose to live in his guest house, where she declines, but she sort of takes it upon herself to run the dental lab business. What the?
So Noreen's not going to work anymore?
Yeah, you don't get married. I'll run your business. What? It was weird.
Why can't she do both?
Dumb. It's so dumb.
Fred's not dead. Fred's
dead.
faking. Fred's faking it. Yeah.
He's
very much alive.
Although Fred might have faked it to get away from Rose. I mean, at this point.
Oh yeah.
Stephanie points out to stupid Bill that since today is a holiday, he could sneak into his old office, return the cash without anyone knowing he stole it. Because Stephanie is a super cop. Yet another brilliant idea from super cop Stephanie. But he says, well, but I would know. And I wouldn't want... anything he knows, the whole world knows, because Bill just can't shut up. He says he didn't want to involve her in a cover-up.
But it's not a cover-up.
It's not a
They
cover-up.
wouldn't know. And here's the thing. If the lady who's going to turn you in is okay with that option, then you do that and you at least get the girl. Or you stay off the boat and you get the money. He got neither.
That's at this point, that's why you go, oh, I think I left my wallet. You know what I mean? I think I left the gas on in the room, and you just go. I mean, if he can swim up to the boat at a moment's notice, if he has the power of teleportation, I don't understand.
Like, what happens when they get off the boat? Like, literally, is she like cuffing him?
She's gonna go to she's gonna go to a precinct and say what?
Well, I mean, is she like knocking him down and cuffing him on the gangplank?
I think the second they get off the boat, I think he knocks her out. I really do. I think this takes a weird, violent turn that they couldn't show on TV.
I think it has to.
It's just stupid. It's just stupid.
And he doesn't.
You can't write without, like, there's no consequence to writing something. And I know it's a stupid TV show, but you have to.
He doesn't try to buy her off. He doesn't try to do anything. He doesn't even try to be charming. Like, he looks so. When he shows back up with the champagne cocktail, he looks so destroyed as a man.
Just stay off the boat, man. Because he couldn't even look at it like, whew, I almost got caught. Blah, 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 as he's sipping on coffee or whatever they drink in Rio.
Yeah. It's awful.
Courtney apologizes to the captain and crew for not being a better sailor. He promises to work hard at being the best ballet dancer he can be, and then immediately trips off the ship. And he hits his head on the watch your step sign. And the captain just chuckles at his nephew's clumsiness.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. The endings, the literal endings of these shows lately have been just awful.
So just like they yanked the core. I mean, this one, fine. It's fun, please.
Yeah.
This one could have been a 16-minute episode, and I would have been fine with
it. Let's get the totals in a recap.
Please.
So I looked it up because I was pretty confident. So the previous episode that we had as the worst episode was the Christmas episode. We even made a note on that show to mention that it was the worst episode and we should keep track of that. And while the Florence Henderson inner monologue thing was really bad in that episode, like probably worse than anything, this was by far the worst episode we've done.
Without a peer.
Like,
this is
just the fact that we are sitting here saying our favorite thing was probably the pratfalling giant.
Had to be. But it wasn't enraging.
Well, the thing that bothered me the most was I do think the first 10, 15 minutes, there's something there, right? You have really good characters.
Yeah.
And then to just complete everybody in this episode, except for Clark Tyler, completely changes their mind.
Oh, it like back to original form.
180s. Yeah. Right. And then sometimes 360s.
It just doesn't.
No, nothing was good. For the most part, the acting sucked. It was.
I say it's way worse than the Christmas episode. I mean, way worse. Like, I don't know. I couldn't think of a number, but it's going to be tough. And as we've seen with those, but you never know. You know, we may have a different take, but this was.
I will say it was that thing where I saw the number before I watched the episode. So I probably went into it expecting it, and it was worse than I thought. So respect to the IMDb viewers. I will be curious to see if we find worse than this, but this is the classic thing we always talk about where the best episodes, all three storylines hit and none of these storylines hit and aggressively didn't hit.
It's just funny because sometimes like bad wrestling is good, right? Yeah. Or a bad movie is good. But this was just beyond.
Well, it's like we said, right? It wasn't like these were wacky plots, even the Courtney Stubing thing was more centered than maybe I thought it was with the pratfalling and stuff, right? But the other two are ostensibly straight up storylines that just jerk around so much that there's no, like, as much as we didn't like the Walter Perry embezzlement framing thing, at least that was linear, right? Like, at least that was
made sense. There was some logic you could apply, but like
this is,
and even this one, I sometimes I don't understand. I feel like the strength of the show is the crew, meaning
they're barely
in this. It's like I'm sure Doc would have helped a little more. Isaac would have helped. Gopher barely was in it. Yeah. Just something like lean on them when it's when that storyline is just weak. They didn't do that.
It was very weak.
And it was very heavy Captain Stubing, like very heavy Stubing. I mean, for obvious reasons, but like that's not doing you a favor if you go that heavy on Stubing.
I mean,
and it's not stubby.
I think history has proven you correct so far. The if Stubing is getting the most carries in a game, that's probably not the best episode.
No, you're not winning that game. You're not winning.
Captain of the week. It's tough.
Captain of the week. Good Lord, Mike. Captain of the week's going to be Doc for just avoiding this entire mess. He tried briefly and he went, you know what? I'm Bernie effing. I'm out. I want nothing to do with it. I don't have anyone. I don't have anyone. That's the only shining light.
Yeah. So I went with Clark Tyler. And the reason I went with Clark Tyler is because he is the only person who did not change course in this episode.
So you're awarding that for consistency.
Yes. He started this episode, eyes on the prize. The whole way through, that was his main thing. And he ended up with the same thing. Like he
didn't lose anything, and he didn't, if anything, he gained something, but his right.
In an episode filled with variables, he stayed the course. So I'll go with him. I will say, like, the peak of Stephanie and the peak of Noreen were outstanding. But I agree. Dropped them into these buckets so badly. Just was very disappointing.
Not a fan.
I feel like I know where we're going to end up here. Walk the plank.
I mean, Jimmy Keds, Bobby Adidas, Ricky Nike, whatever. Get off the boat, bro. Just get off. It's just ridiculous. Just done with it.
Yeah,
it's bad. He wasn't. It's just terrible acting, and he just. Ugh.
It's so funny because we just went through the Caper episode where there were these 4 criminal masterminds, quote unquote, who couldn't get the actual thing done. This idiot gets it done and then falls victim to the first dame he passes on a boat. Like,
just a dummy. Just can't help himself.
Yeah. And just no logic. No logic to any of it. It's
zero logic.
Yeah. So that's totals and a recap for this week.
All right. Plugs. This week we have a few more plugs, so let's go ahead and knock those out. You can find us on Instagram at Loveboat Project. You can find us on YouTube, Loveboat Project. We have a Facebook group, Loveboat Project, and you can email us at theloveboatproject@gmail.com. Big announcement. You can now find us where you find your audio podcasts: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, and Google. Please subscribe and download our entire library. So check it out.
Smash that like button.
Smash the like button and subscribe.
Subscribe, right? Yeah.
Download, subscribe. Mike, what did Jim Backus and Paul Burke have in common?
Who is Paul Burke?
Exactly.
Is that next week? I would imagine.
The answer is episode 18. So we will see. Well, thank you, Mike, for joining another amazing voyage on
Yeah.
this Love Boat project. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.